I mean, quite the trading day. You had your small cap, you had Mara. Yeah, good day.
Yeah, not a bad day today, definitely. Just interesting little comment here from an individual by the name of AK. Says, if I hold, does being a bag holder make me a swing trader? No, it makes me a poor risk manager. Well, I don't think that that's what we're saying. What's up, Fabian? Yes, sir. Okay, we got to send it to the big desk.
Yes, we
Go
do.
for it. Yep.
Well, we will see you tomorrow, same bat time, same bat channel. For now, Brendan is in fact at the big desk.
All right, meeting minutes from the last Fed meeting are out, guys, so just watch the market. Again, fair warning, minutes are out here. The summary right now, Fed minutes cite diminished inflation risks across the board, concern about overly restrictive policy, though. So maybe a little bit of contradictory talk to what we heard from Fed Chair Powell. Remember, the last Fed meeting was the one that he said, cuts are coming. So Fed minutes, staff economic outlook was broadly similar. Remember, we got those economic projections in the last meeting as well. So across the board, they individually state what they think is going to happen to the economy going forward. Again, Fed minutes cite diminished inflation risk, concern about an overly restrictive policy leaning towards maybe, yeah, it's time to cut across the board. So the initial move of the market there to the upside, we're back downside right now. We'll keep an eye on this. A little bit of back and forth action, though, for the overall market. We'll talk about cannabis coming up here a little bit. But if you missed that, going back about 20 minutes ago, we had a big pop across the board in all of these. Yeah, Tilray included in that. To the upside on that note, that the DEA finally reviewing their stance on changing the criminal stance against cannabis. So we'll keep an eye on cannabis stocks, but they have given most of that back. Volume is basically gone. I'm just keeping my eye on the overall market here. We're not really doing anything, kind of chopping around back and forth. Again, the minutes from the last Fed meeting have been released. So watch your positions. If it just got very volatile, that is why. Eli Lilly standing out here, 3.6%. Excuse me. To the upside, Tesla is standing out as well, 3.3% back downside, giving back a little bit of what we saw yesterday. It has been another 3 in a row now, red day for tech. NVIDIA, ABGO, Broadcom, and AMD leading as far as some of the chip names are concerned. Microsoft holding on to positive territory. Google just holding on to positive territory. Meta has fallen off a little bit here. But overall, again, the market trying to tick back to the downside again. That's Tilray. But I'll keep my eye on some of these comments here, guys. You want to talk about the overall market here just real quick?
Yeah, well, it's headed back in. And when I say back in, I mean back into the downside. Look, yes, it's not as bad as yesterday. That's the best way to think about it, I think. But, I mean, it's been mostly a short day. I've had a couple of longs. I'll get to the energy names. They've been kind of going counter trend. Didn't even go long cannabis when it made a pop. Looked for a short, which I'm telling you, if MSOS had opened up when I thought it was going to, it would have been a little bit better. But the NASDAQ reapproaching the low of the day, almost 1% to the downside. The ES as well, as the Fed minutes have come out and are being released. And remember, when the Fed minutes get released, you got to disseminate them. Then you have people have to read it. The algos have to read it and decide how they want to interpret it. So this is not like a economic number where everyone sees a number and then you just go picking a direction. But we were already making a lower high in the futures and trending back into the downside before this happened. So I don't think anything crazy in terms of changing the trend or changing the approach is going to be the way to go. I'm only in 3 positions. And the majority of them, with the exception of Tilray, the other 2, Oxy and SoFi, were trades from this morning and before lunchtime, and then Tilray was in reaction to the news. We'll talk about the cannabis news. The volume's already started to come out of that, but the weakness is still here in big tech. The weakness is still here in the overall market. As oh goodness, my Apple chart. Apple's still underneath VWAP, underneath 184.50. No, it did not print 195. That would have been spectacular if you could have shorted that price.
I was going to say, yeah, because we got, oh, okay, so Apple's still right here. We got out of Apple at 184, but it's still, the big trade, basically, we had a pretty, we hadn't had a meeting in a long time. We're figuring out how to make the show bigger and better for everybody, so we appreciate all of that. So there's not going to be too many fills for either one of us throughout the midday today. But one fill that I did get was Mara. and Mara came back up. We took that short, and yeah, now it's printing again. So as Bitcoin continues to sort of hover around, and I do apologize, I haven't really looked at too many charts. We're just sitting back down now, but 42.2. So it's still dancing around a little bit. Let's see if Mara wants to retrace back down. But hey, what a good day it's been for Mara. I mean, we opened the day up. It was down 4, 5, 6% and more. And it's just kind of been straight up to the upside. So all we've done is sort of wait here for some of the same levels again. So Mara will be a pretty decent stock here in the afternoon as long as sort of crypto remains where we're at. Mara definitely trending lower. It's 85 cents, thanks to Adara was mentioning there. Potentially we could get the elusive dollar club on this Mara trade. So let's see if that comes through. I don't even have any bids until...
Only elusive on Mara.
Yeah, Mara.
Plenty of other good shorts today.
I mean, yeah. I mean, Mara normally gives you $1, so it doesn't even, it's not even a thing.
That's new.
I'm going to, that graphic? I
Well,
like that.
we have NVIDIA.
What
I'm
is it?
pointing
It's
to
a
it like you
hand.
guys know what the hell I'm pointing
That's
to.
a finger that's pointing, it's like it's breaking the bottom, it looks like.
Yeah, it's a finger. It looks like a statue when I look at it like that. Then I look back in and it's like a finger doing whatever the hell it is, breaking that. There you go. Anyways, good job, Fabian. You got NVIDIA in there for big.
We need like the Mutombo wave, like.
That'd be a little more interesting.
Tech stocks?
It's a very weird
Block.
way to put your finger. Like nobody puts their finger like that. I don't even.
The ship is starting to sink. Look, I mean.
The ship's been sinking.
The ship's been sinking, and it's like, again, we keep talking about this over and over again, but honestly.
Well, I just got out of the only long I was in.
Right, like
So
it's not.
trade is over on Occidental because Oxy just broke 60.50 back into the downside. It couldn't even get to $61 today. Yesterday, 60 got to 61. Today, 60 gets to 70, it looks like. So I'm out of the only long trade.
Yeah, so the only long was oil, which makes sense because oil's up 3.5% today.
It's only up, Oxy's only up 0.7.
Good thing
I guess we'll talk about oil.
You fill up your car or what?
Well, I drive to the station and back, so
Yeah.
I filled up like 2 weeks ago, and it's not as if
I
I'm gonna
drive
have
an
to fill
amazing
for it.
11 kilometers to and from work every day. I wish I was.
The Jeep needs gas.
Hopefully I can move closer and walk like Brendan. Although, Brendan, you drove today.
It's cold outside.
It is.
I don't know. Anyways, this downward move right now in the overall market, on this comment, again, from the Fed minutes, several participants observed that circumstances might warrant keeping policy rates at the current level longer than they currently anticipate. So higher for longer was that narrative we were talking about for so long. So, I mean, there's still some, I guess, that are echoing that.
Yeah, I'm not surprised, Brendo, because, I mean, when you have that decades high inflation, it's going to take something abnormal to kind of cure it. We'll have to wait and see, because that's a narrative we heard all of like the second half of 2023 was higher for longer, higher for longer. Then we got the 75 basis points, or the 3 cuts that we were supposed to get into next year. And then that got forecasted up somehow into 1.5%. So we'll have to wait and see what we get. So much uncertainty at the moment.
And don't look now, because the market's right back up to where it started. So even the market doesn't know how to digest all of this. But yeah. The projections, the economic projections, a little bit on the conservative side, according to some of these comments coming through anyways. So if you missed it or you're just joining a little bit late, we got the minutes from the last Fed meeting just came through there. So that's that last big crazy candle on the overall market. But yeah, let's talk about, I mean, we didn't really cover big tech. Anything you want to mention there for big tech?
No, not really. Just really the Apple decline here was just more continuation. We talked a little bit about this morning about the reason for the downgrade by Barclays yesterday, saying that they saw the continuation of soft iPhone sales moving into the iPhone 16 as well. They talked about how some of their services revenue may not be as robust as they are being projected by Apple. So this individual by the name, Tim Long, who's an analyst at Barclays, feeling bearish on Apple.
Yeah, there was the opposite then opinion on Amazon as well. We had up on the board with an upgrade. Another comment here, just to be aware of, Fed minutes saying, participants noted, however, outlooks, so economic outlooks were associated with unusually elevated uncertainty. So maybe we should be a little bit conservative, but if there's a little more certainty that comes back into the overall economy, things will maybe settle down. But dollars moving around back to the upside in a big way. So dollar higher right now, yields back to the upside. Market, as I said, right back to essentially where we started, guys.
Yeah, like it's A little bit of a head fake there, but you know what? That's part of when you get an economic release or you get the Fed minutes. Sometimes entries and exits will look really bad in hindsight because the market makes a pivot. I was just looking at Amazon. Like, look at Amazon just wick right into the opening bottom. Like the 9:30 low by 5 cents was just the low of the day. I went back and looked at my trail out just now in Oxy. Like my trailer is pretty much the bottom of that move, but you're gonna put a trailer, you put a stop in. That kind of thing's gonna happen because it fires in automatic order. I guess we'll go over some big tech again. Amazon. Well, we already said Apple, so let me just go to what was strong this morning, and at least it's at VWAP. Microsoft is green today, which is saying a lot for a big cap tech name. It's up 0.1%. That's not huge, but it was all morning long holding on to support. It's holding at the 370 level, not just a pretty round number, but it was yesterday's, I guess, resistance and close price was 70.87, I think. So you're holding on to this red to green story or green to red, whichever way you happen to be floating. And if the market takes out the highs, I think this is a name you want to be in above VWAP. But the market doesn't want to take out the highs. So I don't think you're off the ship of looking for shorting opportunities, but it is worth pointing out. I don't think we trade Microsoft today, partly because it's been strong. I don't even like that one.
No, I was looking for this one.
That's the better one.
Yeah, I was looking for that one. Okay. The reason why we do that is because we just got mail.
You've got mail.
So, yeah. So let's find out what this is. It's to Sean Katina at Trader TV.
Well,
So I
know
feel
now.
like this is going to be for all of us here. Let's find out what this is exactly. It is a Christmas card.
I just
Unfortunately,
saw where it's from. So it's
sending you warm wishes. All right, Sean, thank you for your thank you for your never-ending, I should pre-read this before I actually read it, your never-ending level of energy and in demonstrating your version of day trading. Happy holidays, Scott. The problem is, what do you think, Scott? I can't, that's a signature almost. Okay, it's from Scott somebody there. Thank you so much. I think it's Scott.
what does it say on the?
Oh, yeah.
I was just gonna say look at that because I thought I saw.
Segrist.
Yeah, that's what I saw in there. But that doesn't look like that at all.
Anyways, thank you so much from who this was from. So thank you so much from everybody
From the
here
great
at
state
Trader
of
TV.
we can say
Texas.
Texas. That's what I saw.
Yeah, Segrist. Thank you so much. Great Scott. Yes, Scott. Thank you so much for that one. We will.
Well, you know what though? What I've heard is that poor and illegible handwriting is a sign of high intelligence.
Why? Thank you.
Or creativity.
I can't even read my own sticky note.
I can tell you everyone around here has really crappy handwriting. We're all not very, but again, everyone types. We were just talking about that this morning. When was the last time you wrote literally the date or anything? People don't write
that
anymore.
was.
But shout out to you. That's
Yes,
super
thank you
kind
so
of you,
much.
Scott. If you're in the chat and we can get your name right, let us know.
I'm trying to find out if you. Great Scott. Yes, Bears vs Bulls. Thank you so much. If you're in the chat, let us know, Bears vs Bulls, and we will shout that individual out. But all right. Were we on crypto now, or is that the next one?
I think we're, yeah.
Now, okay, so I should talk about it now or go back? Come back to Sharif, he says. All right, back over to Sharif.
Sharif is directing the show today. Yeah, let's touch on some of these crypto stocks. We were discussing the reversal that happened early on this morning on the daily chart. If you pull up any of these, really, it's going to look the same. It was kind of a gap down, buy the gap down, and a grind to the upside, depending on what you were looking at this morning. I mean, there wasn't really anything significant other than that move down in BTC.
Yeah, we really don't understand why it moved down, Brendo. A lot of speculation that there may not be approval of the spot ETF. By the way, in case you're waiting for that decision, it's widely speculated that there will be a decision by January 10th. However, some commentators saying that even if we get the approval for the spot ETF for Bitcoin, it's going to be a sell the news type event, and it's going to end up going down. Got to tell you here that Michael Saylor of MicroStrategies, Brendo, disclosed that he sold 315,000 common shares for around $216 million. So I just wanted to put that out there.
Yeah, that came through midday, I guess it was yesterday, for Michael Saylor. But as we were saying, maybe people selling into, as you say,
Right.
you know, something that might be coming, guys, for crypto.
Yeah, I mean, you got to take profit. All they do is own Bitcoin. So I mean, obviously, Sailor.
I mean, be irresponsible at some point.
Yeah, it would be ridiculous not to book any profits when you get that rally. I don't know what his cost base is. I remember hearing, You know, I'm not going to speculate.
I thought it was 34,000.
I thought it was a little bit lower than that. So that's what,
It could be.
you know what? I don't know. I
Derek
thought it
can
was
find
lower
that
than
out for us.
34,000. But if we can,
I'll tell you. after
Michael
you're
Saylor's.
finished.
If anybody does know it, what's his cost base for Bitcoin?
I know.
Either way, at 45,000, suffice to say, you got to take some profit, and so that's what he did. Mara, for myself, I can tell you, I broke 2 rules on Mara today, and both of them involved trading it at a price that was not part of the plan, right? So it's the same mistake twice. Mara was an SSR bounce play. It's been down over 10%. Multiple times, and it was again this morning, setting it up for a short sell restricted bounce off the 20 level, shorted off the pre-market high, which is a setup, just not a setup that I was planning on doing, and then shorted off the even $1.22 because it's a round number. So shorted off some round numbers because they're round numbers is not a reason to do a trade. It eventually did get into the previous support level, which is where I like to short. That's where I got in a couple times, and that's what actually worked, from 23.50 to about 22.70. Then reloaded it and got wicked out while we were in a meeting. That probably was a really good re-entry point when it wicked the high of the day there for me on Mara. But the other thing that I won't be happy about is, for the first time, and the first time in 3 weeks, I end up, because of breaking the rules here, with a losing trade bigger than any winning trades, which I don't like to do. That means to me that I've implicitly broken a rule of mine, which is to take a bigger swing at something at a price that didn't make sense relative to the things that I did like. So that happened to me on Mara today. It's up 2%. It's a relief rally. The fact that it's short sell restricted probably helped it out a bit today. But the bigger story was what happened in Bitcoin overall. You had that big bounce through, and you made a big recovery off 42 that got all the way to 43.5. Now it's subsiding a little bit, but you cannot ignore that kind of a move on a massive liquidity event early morning to the downside. So once it was making the recovery, that was all she wrote. It was a squeeze type of play. And when something is squeezing up, you've got to be super patient to get in. Like, you can't be early shorting a squeeze.
Trying to find out on this. Where on TradingView do I select? This is so ridiculous. Hey, I'm a trader. I'm supposed to be.
Dark view?
No, it's not about dark mode. I'm trying to find out where I can get bar charts on here, like candle charts.
Oh, it's up.
Where? Top left? Here? This?
It's this thing next to the minute.
I found it.
That's it right there. Yeah.
I found it. Brendan, get out of here, bro. Handle this. Got this. No, because you know what? I shouldn't throw any shade in case they eventually want to sponsor or something, but that Yahoo chart only had 2-minute candles. Like, I don't know why I didn't have 1-minute candles. So I just wanted to look at that really quick. But all right, so we're still in Mara. Mara still is working for us, obviously. But there's that 42,000. I'm just trying to show you that 42,000's held into the morning, held again on that dip. It just held one more time. So 42,000 is good to go, baby. So we'll wait to see on that one. It's going to have to break 42,000 before we get really serious with anything right now. But this is what it's all about. We'll spin it again right now. We got really messed up early. Well, not messed up early. We have one red name today. We're going to be 5-1. It's Mara that we're red on. And it was because we had too many shares and then it got taken out. Not too many shares, but got taken out at the top. But since then, that's strange that we got that stop out at 11:02, so I'm not even sure what happened there. But we're short, back in, and then we just got short again and rode this all the way to the downside. That's that 42 move. So we'll see if it breaks through 42,000. Let's still stay short on Mara, but hey, if we take out 2380, the high of the day, then we're gone. We have the top of the day. It's what we do. This one's lucky, but so far so good. Sometimes levels break, like they did right here. And when that pre-market high broke there, $22, we got out. So same thing's going to happen here again, 23.80. That's our stopping spot. But look, we're short at 23.73. So that's 7 cents worth of risk. The most we took was 70. There's a 10-1 for you right there. So, I mean, I'm not trading it like that, but those of you that do that, we actually waited for this to come in. Like I said, part of it was lucky because we just kind of sat back down and had this trade, but then we noticed a 200 period, so we emptied a bit out. It's still Mara. I still like the long. I'm actually really impressed. Trust me, even though I'm short all day today, trust me, bro, I still like the short. Yeah, okay. Trust me, bro, Raider Trader.
Back.
He's back, baby, but I've messaged him today and no response because I told the guy.
Well, if you trust him,
I do trust him.
Then he'll just be there.
But the thing is that we talked about it, and I didn't give him the okay to really come back. So I realized I forgot to do that. So hopefully he can come back. If not, we'll be working on a few other guests. We also have Danielle Shay coming through.
She's back.
Momentarily. So I'll steal her maybe and bring her on tonight. Let me work on it. The market recap show is a work in progress.
Well, actually, and to that point, remember remember we were talking yesterday about the 330 zero dated
Yes,
options,
I could talk about that.
expiry options. That would be a great topic. We were literally just discussing market moves in the last half an hour because of that. So I think it'd be poignant to have Danielle Shay to ask her about that.
From Adara, we got to have I'm always saying Adara gave me this. So that would be a good little emoji for Adara, I think. Some sort of a information gathering thing there. But anyways, the average price, 31.2.
Okay.
For Michael Saylor and MicroStrategy.
I figured it was lower than 35. I was going to say, I'm glad I didn't say anything. I thought it was maybe in the high 20s. I was going to say 28.
Close enough,
20.
31.2. And then he recently sold some for 42.1. So he put down 10 G's per coin there, which is nice, obviously. All right, so that's crypto. Let's go talk about SoFi.
17,000. I was just trying to find, I feel like there was a story not too long ago where he actually just added a whole bunch before this last leg up. I'll find it anyways. Michael Saylor, that is. But anyways, yeah, let's talk about SoFi here. It hasn't been the greatest of days. I was seeing on a quote board for SoFi, there was a downgrade this morning. All of these stocks, that's RIOT, but all of these stocks, we were talking about Affirm yesterday, we were talking about, what was the other one that got a downgrade yesterday? There was another one that was under pressure, but anyways, SoFi, one of those, had such a decent move up into the end of the year, and then all of these analysts are jumping on their backs now.
Yeah, it was a monster December for SoFi, Brendo, 36.5% after 4 consecutive months in the red. Here's why KBW downgraded today, Brendo. They're saying the 2024 revenue and EBITDA forecast of $493 million is about 10 to 17% lower than the expectations of the street. They're saying that SoFi remains polarizing, but noise aside, anytime a growth stock is trading at a premium valuations of 10 to 15% upside, we believe there is more cautious stance is appropriate. So that's the reason for the downgrade.
It was Unity was the other one from yesterday that got hit pretty bad. But yeah, 13%, guys, ouch for SoFi.
So I feel like I feel like I was on an episode of Seinfeld this morning. It's like you can know how to take the reservation, but you got to be able to keep the reservation. You can know how to make a call or get into a trade, but you've got to hold on to it. And if you do get jiggled out, well, then just wiggle yourself back in is the best way to think about it. So I don't mind getting stopped out at the high of the day on SoFi. It happened. You move on. The way to move on, generally speaking, is to find a short that isn't at 11 o'clock. So I missed a couple of golden opportunities on SoFi. I like the short underneath the pre-market high. I like the short in a general sense under 950. And then the pre-market high at 920 gave a first salvo, a second salvo. The first would have been at the $9 level. It immediately wicked the first when I was waiting for the second. And I just did not get back in when it retook the low of the day. So I had scalped a little bit out, so it wasn't all that bad. But there was no re-entry until, as I said, after 11 o'clock, it put in an 850 lower high. I shorted that. I'm still in it. As Sean mentioned, we were in a meeting, so this reload, would I have reloaded if I'm sitting here? Yeah, because it went to 846, which is exactly where I'm short now, and it would have been a reload at that price. But SoFi down 13%. I don't like what I'm seeing on the chart. This was a stock which was in the midst of a fantastic breakout. It got to that $10 level. Obviously, you found resistance at 10 and came back in here. It seems like it wants $8. Anybody can look at this. When it made the big jump off, it was at $8 going back to the middle of December. At this point, $8 seems almost inevitable again. That's the 50 period, simple on the daily. It's a big, fat, round psychological number. And my guess is I'm probably looking for a long bounce at $8 tomorrow, or at some point in the near future. At least this week, I think I'm looking for an $8 bounce on SoFi.
All right, look at the size rate now on SoFi. So there is a nice little 1,000-piece right here. So that's 100,000 shares. It's going to have to break that, obviously. It shouldn't have no problem. 68,000 shares, 67 million shares traded today. But yeah, this one I kind of feel like, you wear that sort of that dunce cap in the side because to not have gotten some out, to have bought some down here at 6, literally the bottom of this move. I think I have like 660, honestly. And then I bought some more on the 50 period. I don't know why, but 718. So I'm wondering like what happened there, why I got that. Maybe it was just on a 7 break one day. And then to have not gotten anything out up there, it's not great. But I was holding it for a little bit of a longer term. But as you can see how fast this comes down.
I was going to say, I think I know why the 718. Because when it broke $7, the day that it broke 7 for good was like at the end of November, and the high that day was right at about, I think it was right at about 718. So like the following day, that would have been a logical entry point. And then I think it opened pretty much. It's hard to see, but it was like right in here on this day. It breaks 7, closes pretty much at that number, and then above 7 for the first time. It closed above 7, and then the next day it takes out the previous day high right at about 718.
So anyways, it just goes to show you, so I know we're talking about SoFi, but the better situation might be Robin Hood. Like, it's just, and the reason why I'm saying that is like, this move down, although I'll have to look at percentage points because it looks like Robin Hood made a move yesterday. But, from this going from $13.50 down to $12, like that's only $13.50, it's only $1.50 off of that, off of 13. So it like lost maybe 12%, like top to bottom or so. Like SoFi is losing that today. So
now you've just set up an either or, because
well, that's the thing. I don't know enough about them. I was just buying SoFi because I thought like, oh, it's at a great level.
I'm picking SoFi.
But why?
Because I don't like Robin Hood.
But why?
I don't know. It's
right. I mean, that's the same thing I was asking Sharif when he was like,
it's a gun to your head thing.
Yeah,
I don't know fundamentally enough about Robin. Robin, I think, could get bought out by somebody more likely than SoFi in the near term would. So if you're looking for like a 40%, 50%. Sort of move to the upside. I keep feeling like I'm going to elbow this guy when I look at it.
I just got the card there. Here, SoFi's market cap.
Yeah, let's look at the market caps here.
8, okay? 8 for SoFi, 8 for Hood. So it's just a matter of like what we think about valuation. The average account size on Robinhood is about $600. I don't know what the average account size there on SoFi is. The whole thing about Robinhood is they had so many people in their ecosystem during meme madness that if traders are still down for trading, the next time around, this is why I think, I actually, the more I think about this, I might even prefer Robinhood. It's because the more active, if we get like one of those moves again in the market for memes trading and stuff like that, I just feel like people's accounts are already set up at Robinhood and could see a definitely increased amount of action on that side. So we'll see.
Kind of ripping here.
You guys let us know. Can we make a chat? Why don't we make a chat? You can do that.
Yeah.
Why don't we make a chat and we'll close it at 3 o'clock. We'll have Danielle Shay come on, and then we're just going to ask, would you prefer for 2024, let's just make it this year.
On the year.
This year, SoFi or Robinhood? All right, let me throw it back over there. Sharif and Brendan sometimes have an opinion. You guys have one on this situation? Or
They had, SoFi just had that, or not SoFi, Robinhood just had that 1% match they were doing as well to attract more bigger accounts. They were matching up to 1% of whatever was transferred. So I think they had a huge inflow number. I remember going back to December.
Yep.
So, I mean, there's positives on both sides, but I don't know if I would ever choose Robinhood, to be honest, but I don't know. What do you think?
I don't have a choice either way, Brenda. All I know is that they were able to make money at times when their trading volume dropped markedly because they were making money on interest income. So their users were basically using margin, and they were able to make money off them. So they were able to stay afloat during tough times, and that's kind of what you look for.
Yeah, I think, I mean, overall, I think SoFi has more options as far as products and ways to generate revenue. So maybe because of that only SoFi, but
right.
Yeah, the heyday of Robinhood was definitely during the pandemic, that's for sure. Walt Disney, meanwhile, was one of the names we were talking about in the pre-market this morning on this. Yeah, Value Act going to jump in or try to jump in on this shareholder meeting coming up in 2024 to snatch away some Trian Fund board seats potentially?
Yeah, 3 different people here they're looking at nominating, Brendo, and they're in basically the direct opposite of Trian Fund Management, which is headed by Nelson Peltz. They actually like what Bob Iger is doing, and they want to help him continue to maintain control by adding 3 different members to the board. The first essentially is a person with real estate and venture capital experience by the name of well, there's no name there. Warner Brothers executive is the second person, Brendo, and then someone who has film experience as well looking to be added. So looking to get some...
Someone very important is going to be added to the board. We'll leave it at that. There's a move up here, guys, across the board. I mean, Disney benefiting from this as well. There was a comment from the Fed minutes that was kind of circulated again for a second time around, and that was Federal Reserve officials during the meeting in December agreed that rate increase cycle that started back in 2022 was likely to come to an end. So that seemed to cause that last move up in the overall market here.
Just on that note, and I just had to close my stream. I was about 50-50 that vote, but 850 is approaching on SoFi. So we were just talking about SoFi for a reason, and it's still about 50-50. I'll open that back up, but I'm gonna get out on. I had VWAP as an out, but I'm just moving it to 50, unless I already did that before I got up. Oh no, I did that before I got up to go to the meeting. So again, if it breaks 850, I'm out. But the market is now churning back into the upside. As far as Disney goes, it made that nice bounce. Just one of those times where if you're looking at this at 930 for the $90 level, congratulations. Look at the 50 and 200 period lining up almost exactly together. And the last couple of days, it's just been the bounce zone. Some charts are easy to read for support and resistance. The support at the $90 level has been obvious for the last 5 trading days. Today was the day that it broke off the bottom and got a couple of bucks. So it's up at 92. It's making a move without me. I sold my shares not too far from here because I just didn't want to own Disney in the long term. Felt like there's other things I want to put the money into. But a great, fantastic day for Disney. Just needed to have that at the open off 90 or when it came back into 90.20. Don't have it, but the level was, I think, pretty clear. That's why you look at support and resistance, because it gives you an area to buy in front of other buyers, which is generally the idea of how to trade.
That's part of why you want to join us. Actually, I had Disney yesterday on the sticky note, not today. But this is why you want to join us every single day. We have watch.tradertv.live, and then we have the sticky note. And we identified this Disney. I mean, we could just replay this stream back to like 9 o'clock when we looked at this $90 level. And actually yesterday on the market recap show, we had Brian Shannon, and I ended the show with him discussing Disney and liking sort of how we're trying to swoop back up here off. I liked it off the 50 and the 200. We put some anchored VWAPs and whatnot, but we like the stock. And then now today it seems like it gets a little bit of a catalyst. To me, not good enough, man. I mean, I want to get into Disney, obviously. Oh, by the way, we're still him, man. Look at Mara. Mara just came right up into that level again, and we just shorted it again right there. But this time, remember where our stop is 80s, okay? So we just got a 70 clean fill there, and it just got some out at 60, 61. Because, again, just now trying to go one-to-one on... I got a 20%. We'll have our nether little piece at 50 cents. And then if we come back down to the 200, then we'll just do it again. But there it is again right now. We're at the highest. So despite me starting the day red on Mara, we're still going to be red on Mara. We are now well positive for the day and hopefully starting to cruise here into the close. But let's just stay this. I just heard a little bit of news maybe about Fisker. I don't know what it was. Nothing's happening. So, okay. Fisker down to 150, like pretty pathetic right now. We'll have to watch out for that. But as Brendan mentioned, nice move up here in the futures, up to the top side again. Almost breaking the high of the day, like it got into that area, but then falling right back into VWAP where it belongs. So the market is what it is, and right now Mara's trying, and then we still have Palantir, but we'll talk about that as we go on and on and on and on. And so that's what that is right now. Yes, Sean, Master Mara Revenge Trader.
Hey, Rob.
I don't mind addressing like the revenge trading thing. I know that I have a problem revenge trading. So that is one of the things that I have to work on. And that was not what it was today, though. My revenge trading is more, I'll show you. when I revenge trade, it's more like this fill right here. By the way, Mara, let's go. 20 cents, we just took it out at 50. It went down to 50 there, by the way. It's more like, okay, I get stopped out, you know, and then I don't believe it, so I try again. And then I get stopped out again. Or right here, short, 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 stopped out, and then short again, and it keeps on going. This time we're lucky enough that it fell back down. That's more like revenge trading. This is actually strategy shorting the top of the day. So that's what we're doing right there. And then there's the fill we just got at 54, sorry, not 50s. So a nice little fill there on the way back in. But whoever mentioned that, I saw you in the chat. And yeah, I'm here to fully admit that my worst days have come when I sit there and quote unquote revenge trade. So I do understand that, and thank you for pointing that out. I will work on getting better. Brendo.
Oh, man. There was a headline on TikTok there, in TikTok Shop. I was just asking Sharif if, yeah, so they're removing subsidies and they're increasing fees, it looks like, for TikTok Shop, which is their shopping aspect or something like that. So, yeah. TikTok's going to make more money. Here's, what do we got? Oh, it's closed already. So the futures session over in Chicago closed up for the day. 3.31% here for crude oil. It's been straight higher all day long. This was very, very early this morning. We had a bit of a dip at 425. I guess that's 525 Eastern. But basically closes at day highs. We're all the way back to 73 here for crude.
Yeah, and a lot of the equities benefiting as well, Brendo, CVX, XOM, all above 1% and 2.25% or 2.25% here, respectively. Mizuho had a comment about ExxonMobil earlier on. They actually announced a downgrade from buy to neutral and with a price target of 117. So I was looking at XOM relative to CVX, definitely underperforming it on the day, Brendo, by about 1.5%.
Yeah, good look though for the energy sector, as we saw on that sector board as well, guys. Any trades today for oil?
Well, there was one that I just got jiggled out of a little bit there. Let me just open my last window, and thank you to Rob. The PC was a little slow, and I'm blaming Chrome for it because it needed an update, which was the reason. Look, Oxy was a $60 long, simply, and sometimes the round number is actually the right place to get in. And just simply looking at Oxy off of yesterday's bottom. Yesterday was a much cleaner trade. It went from 60, dip into the open, reclaimed it, went right to 61 effectively, 60.95. That's about as easy as it gets for a move, and then it retraced the whole thing. So I wanted to see it break out the open range, hold above $60. It did that, went long above 60, scalped them out the first quarter. That ended up being a good out. And just as the Fed minutes came in, I had my trail underneath the recent consolidation, thinking it could pull all the way back in or make a move to the high of the day. So a couple of days in a row, maybe not holding perfectly to the top, though you never do, but Oxy off the 60 level has been good. Oil's made a much better move in general than Oxy, or maybe in CVX. It's true of Chevron, it's true of XOM, that oil made a bigger move. But these are all names that have been off the pump at the bottom. Now you're getting consolidations to try to make another leg to the upside. Oxy closing above the 50 period, I think, is a good sign. This is now 2 days off the good 60 level. It's not the Buffett bottom, but it's at least been a temporary bottom for some good longs on oil. Maybe we can finally say these bad boys are powering up again.
Yeah.
That goes on. That goes on a little bit longer than I thought. So I didn't time that right. They could be powering up again, but they already made a good bounce off the lows. I'm looking for, I think you can make another move here. Obviously the Red Sea is going to be a big deal, but I think there's another move in the equity names that's still to come. Oxy in particular breaking through 62. So far, so good.
Yes, sir. I mean, let's just go, I'll just go over a daily chart of oil then, because I agree with Neil. I think that Oxy's a good name to look at for sure if you're playing some bumps. But look, I mean, this is what we do on the market recap show every day. It's we talk about sectors that are near support and resistance, why they're moving, why they're not moving, so on and so forth. And for this name, man, it's oil, and we already know why it's moving. We have some issues over there in the Red Sea, the Strait there, and just trying to get that all figured out. So once that is, and again, if we don't think that there's a recession coming or anything like that, then there's going to, I think we had talk from the Fed earlier on today about that and the sort of a potentially soft landing. We just heard from Brendan, no more rate increases, hopefully this year. I think that bodes well for oil. It bodes well for manufacturing. So I like oil to bump back up. I'd say you always want to look at this 200 period because it mattered a lot last time. So $77, $78, guys, is where I think oil rests its head. And I do think that there's some more upside move here. But remember, I still believe that this is super old technology. Like I know ExxonMobil and all that is revamping themselves. They're going green a little bit and that kind. But at the end of the day, I don't think people and manufacturing is ready to switch. It's too expensive. Solar's too expensive. Oil's still in plastics, this pen I'm holding, like everything, man. Everything right now is energy based and most of the production is going to be oil. So yeah, I still think there's more runway there. We just took out another piece on Mara down here at 61 cents. I just don't know what's happening with it. We're gonna hold the rest. We're now out of half for an amazing 10 cents on this reload. Let's see if it gets a little bit lower. That is Mara.
Yeah, it's interesting you mentioned that. I just pulled this up again. We looked at this yesterday morning, and it was 80%. This is January. It was 80%. After those meeting minutes at 2 o'clock there, now 91.2%. This is January, 91.2%. No change coming in January. You go out to March, and we're still looking at 5 to 5.25, which would indicate a quarter point to come off as soon as March, but 68%. So still some mixed feelings in that nature. That's MSOS. If you missed it or joining a little bit late, there was a report that the DEA is now officially reviewing the state of cannabis and the legal interpretation of cannabis in the U.S. So, I mean, $7, a bit of a wall here so far for this MSOS. But, I mean, any of them moved on that till raise to the upside. Yeah. It's worth noting they're all coming back down right now on pretty light volume, though.
And they're all green, but yeah, like you said, coming back down. I mean, it's nothing really we didn't already know. We knew that there was going to be an assessment by the DEA after the suggestion from the Department of Department of Health and Human Services, yep. That's the one, that suggested to reduce it from Schedule 1 to Schedule 3. There's also been other tailwinds, like the Safer Banking Act, allowing some of the interstate operators to bank safely and weed out some of the organized crime elements of it, Brendel. But I think the holy grail here, like it's always been, is going to be federal legalization.
Yeah, and a lot of people are excited about that when it does happen, if it does happen. Rahim Alani is going to come by tomorrow. Maybe we'll talk a little bit about cannabis names once again, but nice day anyways, guys, 3.5%.
Yeah, absolutely. Like it's a good day for cannabis, but Sharif said something in there to the effect of nothing that we didn't already know. So yeah, obviously legalization at the federal level is a big deal. That's what you're waiting for, the holy grail, as he put it. But when that flash news came in and MSOS was halted, I had an idea to short off of yesterday's high on Tilray when MSOS reopened. And the problem is MSOS reopened after 10 minutes and not 5 minutes, which made the trade a little bit trickier. It's gonna go to the 3-minute chart here because I got in for a bit. I'm like at 36 when it made a high at 40, and then it was about, I'm like, the second that stock opens, second MSOS, the ETF opens back up, I'm just gonna punch short so I can get a full position. Well, it wicked the high, and I was looking to get in, and it didn't open after 5 minutes. So I was kind of sitting there with an execution plan based on a time that never came in, so I never got a full position on the short. It ended up working anyways, but that's just a typical sell the news spike type of event. You've seen that before, looking for the retracement. Had it been something bigger, then I don't think I would look for that kind of a trade. My SOP now, I'm looking for a 220, kind of the midpoint of where this was before the news got released, and either it breaks back up above like 34, like above this peak here at 33, or we get that 220. I'm not really looking to reload it. The news has come and gone here. Just a simple, when you get a parabolic spike, if it's a big enough deal, maybe I'll look for continuation longs. If I think it's a bit of a nothing burger and a volatility spike upside, then usually the retracement is the way to go. The algos pump it up, the algos drop the bid, and it usually comes back down.
Tilray, okay. Yeah, I think Sharif and everybody was on something a little bit here with just looking at maybe the ETF. I mean, it halted there, now is right at that level again. So honestly, we talked about this a couple times. I just wonder if these are all like either trade don't hold or hold don't trade. Like I just wonder, I haven't been able to figure out, you know, when you're looking at a name like CGC or something, It's had a nice move. It reverse split. Actually, our charts probably won't be that good for that. Let's just go over to a stock like Tilray then, because we don't have any reverse splits. And I'll just talk about what I'm talking about. It's just like, you know, it has some nice moves off the bottom. But then if you're really playing for that huge outburst, maybe you get that. You know, so I just don't know if we just keep on averaging in every time it drops down, or if you get in and then just get out on all these pops. I'm kind of feeling like the latter. Like, you know, I bought more Tilray down here. I told you guys that. I bought more Tilray and I bought more CGC. And now I'm only down 96% on my portfolio for cannabis. But the thing is like, where do you get out? Are you waiting for that huge move up, that potential squeeze play? Or do you just trade it like a swing trade and get out like I should have done on SoFi? Where is that? Here we go. This is what I want to look at. All right, Tilray, what is the short float on this bad boy right now? See, 70%. Now, when this stock went to like $250 or whatever it was like in the 50% area, and that was during meme madness. What about CGC? Oh, no. I put CG, I gotta talk to Michael Noss. I put CGC with a backslash, and it completely made this whole.
It broke the system.
It broke the system. I can't even put it in here anymore. Ha ha!
It's a kill code.
All
You
right.
didn't realize that you hit the kill
So
code.
now I can, yeah, all right, well, all right. Do you want to see CGC, what the short float is on that one?
Oh, sorry. I just restarted my trade ideas as you were doing that. I'm like, that's bad timing.
Okay, doesn't matter. Anyways, the idea for me is I think it's better, honestly, to maybe just wait for that potential blast off, especially
38%.
38%. So there we go. So that's the one.
There it is.
So 38% on CGC because it was reverse split as well. I wonder if that number is a little bit off. But the idea, I got to get rid of this because it's going to sit there on my screen if I can. The idea behind it is it's election year, right? So the last time this thing spiked was when Kamala started mentioning all about marijuana and then went to sleep for 4 years.
Say that again?
Kamala, like, where is she?
Fabian, you know what to
Where are all these people?
You know what to do, Fabian.
Yeah, Fabian, meme that stuff up. Let's go. But no, I mean, I'm being, honestly, I'm being serious. Like, when's the last time anyone heard from her?
I don't know.
Exactly. All right.
Not to be political, but it's just, I don't know. I actually don't know. I actually don't know. I can't remember last time.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so you guys, well, look, we're Canadian here. We have, we don't have any problems. But no, there it is right there, back to the 50 period. So, oh no, says DJ. There's another one right there, and we got it 3 times.
Another one.
So there it is, man. Another short for us there on that one, and we'll wait to see what's going on. She's hanging out at the border. That's a good one, Herd Scrambler. I'm not sure about all that stuff, and we don't mean to be political. I'm talking about marijuana because when I can show you like Grow Generation brands, all these stocks, and I remember the day, man. They were having like a town hall, and she came out and was like, you know, we're going to look to make a move like in the cannabis space and blah, blah, blah. And the only time I heard anything about any of this stuff is just now, a couple months ago, when we got that, what we're talking about now, going back from Schedule 1 to 3 and vice versa, whatever it is. So I don't know, man. And what a surprise it's being brought up here as we enter an election year. So I don't have much faith.
But it moves the stocks, and with I think the greater point, of course, being, well, don't get terribly excited unless you do hear higher level
That's
officials.
it. And I think like you might want to just hold your position until then.
Yeah, and if you don't get your hopes up. That's to all you Sundial shareholders.
Oh, Compass RX wants to buy 1 share off me. I have probably millions of shares by now. So sure, I'll sell you 1 share.
How are you going to sell? At the prices
You
they're
can't
at,
buy- you can't-
Comp SRX, you can do better than 1 share. Come on.
Well, no, but now
You can
CGC,
negotiate.
yeah, you kidding. Now CGC is $5 though. It used to be
Still,
50 cents.
It's $5.
Come on. All right. When is Danielle Shay? 3:15? 3 o'clock, right. I knew she got extended out there. So, okay, so we'll have Danielle Shay coming on.
I actually thought it was 2:45, so that's my bad.
That's why it's 2:48 right now, so I was double checking. All right, on to the next trade. Rivian. Remember what I said? And again, talking head. It doesn't really matter what I say, other than the fact that if you guys were part of the midday show, great. You heard what I said right when we left. You guys, look, it's right at 11 o'clock, you know, hand to heart. I said if Rivian breaks $20, we had that meeting, I should have still punched it. You know, There it is, man. Right back up there, 2060, 2050. Let me know in the chat if you guys took that, but that was, again, a pretty easy one. Remember, I said, get that garbage out of here, and then break through VWAP, $20. It should be a 60, 70 cent winner. Don't have it, but still, Rivian, nice bounce back, man. Now down only 3%. It was down like 8 or 9, and we'll get some more thoughts on that, but I know that Brendan's waiting.
Just on that last move, guys, for the weed group, DEA comes out and says they have told Congress it has final authority. So Congress has final authority on marijuana regardless of the health agency's Schedule 3 recommendation. So again, DEA telling Congress it has final authority on marijuana regardless of the health agency's Schedule 3 recommendation, implying maybe Congress could change it if they wanted to.
The DEA isn't each state have a DEA, district attorney? How does that all work?
No, that's federal.
Federal, okay. So
you
then
guys
they
are
can
American.
change it then. Is that what? Then
Just
Congress
call
can go
Hank,
over their
man.
head?
We'll just ask Hank.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm asking you because you watched The Wire. So you should know. Oh, DEA?
DEA.
Oh, the drug enforcement. Okay, there we go. We actually just had that talk about having each other in our ears a little bit more often. But yeah, okay.
What you guys don't see is like Brendan is further away from us than you actually realize. Like when you see back there on the bridge where Brankles and
Plus we're old and I need to have a hearing
it's
aid.
like the same distance away those guys as Brendan. So if we don't hear them on our earpiece, it can be a little bit difficult. So DEA, that's why I said Hank, because I was thinking about Breaking Bad. Although,
is anyone winning on anything currently? You have any trades?
SoFi's in. It's only winning a couple of cents, and I'm in a little bit of Tilray. But again, Tilray, the volume has died on the Tilray move. Like I'm not looking for a reload there. SoFi, yes, off the 250 level, right? So SoFi, sorry, 250. SoFi goes to 250, then we got some problems. The 850 level on SoFi, that's been a reload spot, and I have scalped it once. Well, I got this wick in here, that's why it looks like that. But I should put a bid down here at about 830. It's a pretty tight range this afternoon, but it's got this little 10-cent back and forth that it's been doing. So I'm still sitting in that one. I do want to get back over to an Oxy, maybe potential long. I got trailed out. It ends up, okay, let me some data there. That's not VWAP. Don't trust it because it's missing data. But it did make a trail out on that when we had the number, not the number release, but the Fed minute release. I still think this is trending to the upside. I might look for a little something off the 60-50 level where I got out to try to jump back into that trend. So it's been super strong there. ASAC Schrader to you. That's right, Mr. Schrader. I think that's a fantastic show. Maybe it's not as good as this show, but Breaking Bad, definitely legendary. And outside of that, I think I'm looking to fade Apple.
I like this show, but I may give an edge to Breaking Bad over this show.
Slight?
Yeah, it's like content thing. Like
The Wire.
Randy here?
That's the Randy thing. The Wire, I think, I put a higher standard. But
Than Breaking Bad?
Yeah, I do. I mean, to each their own. I know you haven't seen The Wire, but for my money, The Wire is better than
I
Breaking Bad.
could start The Wire. I was rewatching Eastbound and Down.
You don't have enough time.
The one.
I promise you.
Oh, I have lots of time. Trust me on that one. It's just a matter of, isn't it like 6 seasons? Isn't each episode an hour? That's why, right?
Yeah, each episode's, but also the best part of it, each season gets a layer deeper.
Yeah, things that have to focus. Yeah, you're probably right. That's why I'm watching Eastbound and Down, like just stupid Kenny Powers. Like I don't need to know that much about what's happening there. All right.
Kenny Powers.
There should be more marijuana shows. Yeah, you're right. Weeds. My wife used to watch that. That wasn't that great. The show Weeds? Have you seen that, Fabian? You never heard of that. You're too young for that one.
I know that show. I didn't watch it, but I know that show.
It wasn't really Breaking Bad for weed. It was like a mother that was growing it. What? Okay. Maybe it's good. You guys like weed?
Well, this is jokes. Kyle Burdett, have you ever been Lieutenant Daniels from The Wire for Halloween? Asking me this. I have not been Lieutenant Daniels. You wouldn't, like, what am I supposed to do? Wear a suit and go bald?
Yeah.
No one would know who I am. They just
Yes,
probably
they
pick
would,
somebody
man.
else.
Yes, they would.
No, you'd pick somebody else. But I did. I'm not making this up. May he rest in peace. I didn't meet him. I ran into the actor at a McDonald's next to our old campus office during TIFF. He was at the Mickey D's. He was getting a coffee. I didn't interrupt him. I was kind of like shocked to even see him there, and I was like, holy crap, that's that's Lieutenant Daniels from The Wire. But during the film festival here, you see a lot of people, a lot of stars. So it wasn't completely abnormal. I just wasn't expecting to run into him. He wasn't exactly an A-list actor. May he rest in peace. See, now I'm hearing Fabian in my ear, and I'm not sure what he's talking about. But I heard SoFi. I'm in SoFi. It's not moving. It's about 4 cents in the money right now. I'm looking for 6 or 7 for the next out. I was trying to say Apple. I'm looking for a short in Apple, maybe at the 185 level. It just went to 94s and pulled back in. If it can't break out 185, that was the lower high put in this morning at about 185.20. Also, I'm not trusting VWAP here because that little chunk of the day is missing. VWAP on my other chart sits at 184.30, so it's a little bit lower, like right down in here. I'm not looking for a VWAP bounce anyways. I'm looking for a short off 85.
All right, we just made a mistake, so we'll stop a little bit. Well, it's not a mistake, but it's just I didn't have a bid there, so that kind of sucks. Mara comes right, and again, whenever you're going from tops, if you retrace back down, that's why we take out the 50 period. First of all, I was taking out 1-to-1 there. We talked about that with 10 cents, and then we got one that was 15 cents, and then we came into 40, where's the 50 period moving average. I'm not just drawing these lines because they're pretty, drawing them because that's where I'm supposed to be looking, and we don't have an out there. So as soon as it went down, I called it up because I saw the net bouncing, and I was like, oh my God. I went over there and pushed bid, enter, and it shot. Just, again, when you're gonna put live orders in the market, sometimes that will happen. It doesn't matter though, it also hit that period there. So we weren't there. Anyways, long story short, we're now bidding in and around 30s. I actually put a bid at 34. That little bottom is 31. So that, that could be something coming through on that one. So just be careful with that. I am trying to get a little bit more on Mara. And then the name that I haven't talked too much about, this is still from the day. Again, sitting here, probably would have reshorted this around 16.25. A couple double tops, triple tops on Palantir. It's still the same trade from before. Now that we see this, we actually have the bottom of the day on Palantir, but look, it was also respected again at around 2 o'clock. So yeah, we're gonna have to address this almost ASAP here on PLTR. So 16.10. Oh, we're right here right now, actually. Plus we have, ooh, that's what she said. There's some size right there following this thing. All right, see if we can get a bid at 12, but right there, a nice bat's coming back in to the downside. Is there any other size on there? No, there is not. All right, we just got hit there, I think, at 12, did we? Yes, we did. So right there, Palantir, nice little move down. Oh, wow, now there's double barrel action on Palantir. Look, 80,000 there, 100,000 there. So someone's selling. I'm not sure who it is. And I don't think it's going to be Kathy Wood or anything like that, but it does look like they're selling Palantir off a little bit here.
Phil? Or did he?
Just too busy hitting that stupid thing to be able to tell, but it's not, you know what, Neil, it's not 80,000
It's only 80,000 shares.
No, it's back.
Okay, so they didn't.
You know what? There's a problem with the bat book, remember?
I'm not gonna.
I'm not convinced on that being real anymore.
No.
It's changing. Anyways, neither here nor there.
As a day trader, you make a judgment call when you see a size order, whether or not you want to trade based as if you're going to get a fill if you tried to hit it, or if it's going to magically pull in front of you.
Yeah.
Because if you're looking for that for exit liquidity on a short trade, and that's some sort of like algo playing games, or it's a stuck quote, then you run into some trouble. So I think that's what Sean's getting at with that bats. But I want to get to AMD for a second here. Shout out in the chat. I didn't get a chance to see you. I tried scrolling to find who it was that was mentioning AMD, but either way, that is super strong. Okay, not super strong. It is strong and above VWAP. It's down 2%. I shouldn't be telling you that AMD is super strong, but it just broke the morning's resistance here right after we went off air. This thing wicked 135.75 into 136 and then fell. It then put up a higher low right here, 134.25, and now it's breaking out that top from 11. So it's above VWAP. It's kind of trending back into the upside. As the market is pulling back in here after Fed minutes, if it can hold on to this 135.75, I'm looking for it to break out that top. So I want a higher low than breaking out the top over 136 on AMD. Big time pullback, but holding on to key levels on the daily. We like key levels on the daily chart, and once that happens, I think this could have made a temporary bottom. So it looks like it's putting in a higher low and going to take out this 136.
All right. Is this something or not? Adair just sent me this. The best performing S&P 500 stocks over the last 20 years. Wow. What is that, Brendo? What is it?
Oh, it's not. It's literally nothing exciting.
Oh, okay.
Makeup.
Oh, a makeup package.
You're shaking that like it's.
Oh, I forgot to put makeup on. I better go do that ASAP. All right, 59,000. What? Plus 59,000%. That's probably right. The last 20 years for Apple. Wow. Plus 59,000% on Monster. And if you drink a couple of those, this all of a sudden looks like 79,000. NVIDIA as well, 30,000%. This is the last 20 years. This is why when I turn to young people like Obi and Neil, I say to them,
thank you.
You just need to be buying and Adara, you're obviously, Adara might be the youngest here actually, is that you just buy high quality companies and you just hold them. I mean, Monster's surprising to me, but again, I think that's probably an IPO thing there. And good on them. I have to look at their stock. I don't want to not want to throw shade.
I'm actually very surprised.
I've never been in Monster before. Chipotle, I think. Regeneron, Amazon. I mean, some of these, I guess, maybe have been bought out. Tyler Technologies, O'Reilly Auto Parts, Vertex, or Netflix. So, yeah, some of them are older names, some of them are newer names, but there you go. Just another example of, you know, trying to dollar cost average into better names and kind of, I don't want people to like look sideways or not look at like major drawdowns because 2008, 2020, like it all matters. But at the end of the day, as long as you're diligent with some of the positions that you have, you should probably be okay. Buy the best companies and then start to maybe buy some indexes as well. But anyways, that's just advice that I took for myself. I mean, everybody can get their own. I believe in buying high quality companies. I don't think that's financial advice really, but
I'd hope it's not controversial is the best.
So there's the move down in BABA. Look at the move up, man. BABA again today. They had that news about maybe spinning out that IPO again, and there it is. Nice little move to the upside, 76.70 right now for Alibaba. We got out of the way of that one.
Oh,
another positive name for us, Alibaba.
I didn't know Monster was a penny stock.
What?
That explains it.
It's not a penny stock.
No, it was that.
Right, that's what I'm saying. It was
Yeah,
probably
it was-
came out at such crazy valuation.
Yeah, it came out at a crazy like.
How come Domino's isn't on there?
few
The
cents.
DPZ was also a banger.
I mean, generally things don't get introduced that are at pennies like that cheap. So you get a situation like that. That's why it's a bit of an outlier, which makes some sense. It's making dollars if you're in there from the beginning. I'll get to SoFi in a second, but the new position was wanted to see a higher low and then a break of the evens and then give it to said higher low on AMD. So it'll be a relatively tight stop. It's also 3 o'clock, so it's starting in the power hour. Generally will say this, looking for tighter entries and exits. Like if this is earlier in the day, am I gonna give it more than 20 cents on a break? Probably. On AMD, yes, because I think early in the day I'm expecting AMD could go $2, $3, $4. Right now, I'd be happy if that 136 break went to 136.5. And if I'm happy that it goes 50 cents, then I don't want to hold it more than 20, 25 cents against me. So that's the reason for the tight stop. Now that might look bad in hindsight when we look back at this in 30 minutes, which I'm sure I will at least, because I think this can still be strong. But that's the rationale there. So everything gives a tighter stop later in the day. I got the reload in SoFi. That's starting to come back down. VWAP retracement on SoFi. Although now that I look at it, that might be off by a cent or two because it's a small gap, not a lot of volume missing. But back down into the 830. So we like to short into 850 and then getting it out 40s and 30s. The low of the day on SoFi is $8.28. If it breaks that and makes a fresh low, I'll hold on to a baby piece just to see if it can continue down. And I don't want SoFi to be going down. I own SoFi in my long term, although I was not thinking of this as a swing play. I am looking to hold on to it for a while. And it was 50-50 when we asked this. It's now 59% for 2024. Who would you prefer, Hood or SoFi? I think that's pretty interesting on a day where SoFi is down 13%. Now, candidly, I voted for SoFi myself. That 59% of you would prefer SoFi, the one that's getting its butt kicked today. Maybe it's because you think you're getting a deal right now.
Yeah. Yeah, I wonder if that's part of it.
Psychologically,
Yeah,
I mean,
it could be. I mean, if
we
people
always
are
want to
thinking-
buy dips
I
psychologically.
mean, Robinhood's still down 5% or whatever, but yeah, psychologically it makes sense, I think. All right, I'm just looking to find some more names as we await Miss Danielle Shay. She'll be here momentarily. Welcome her back, man. That should be a good one coming through. Okay, so we just got that, so let's just do this again.
Awesome.
We were patient, we waited. We got Mara. I mean, again, not only did we get it, we told you the exact price we were bidding, and that was 34s. So there's 34, came in, we got it right there. We are the only show out that's going to do anything like this, so thank you for continuing to watch. And make sure you hit the like and the subscribe.
Like and subscribe today.
See, Sharif's gone to the gym. I don't know if you know that he does that. So we can't necessarily hit his button because he won't be that upset. We might as well do it.
Like, subscribe, and share the show that takes you to the heart of the market every day.
Oh, okay.
But it's always better when he's here.
It kind of broke my
SoFi is going to shock the market in a few weeks.
Boom.
Please explain, Bandy, as I am long on SoFi, as he says that in the chat. Okay, let's just look for something else quickly here. Let's look at ARM. I mean, we've looked at ARM a couple times in the last couple days, not really so much today, I feel like. But again, it's still down. Like I said, I feel like maybe ARM and then some of the other chip names, basically all the chip names, will be where everyone runs to when we need to think about what exactly we want to do with this market, right? So I believe in it. Let's just see if everybody else does. So I know Neil's talked about liking ARM, and so it's just a matter of like, there's the move down to 65, and that wick actually happened. So like, I was not throwing shade yesterday. I was at the stock, but not at the idea. Like, I wasn't throwing shade at the stock, just throwing shade at the price action, saying that we could get down into this area where I was going to start buying. But we just, wicked down, and I know if people had a better idea than that, we might have to put our bids near 65 because that got stopped on a dime down there at 65 and then bought straight back upside. So huge flush off the open. Money came in to buy ARM. So maybe something there, man. The IPO price. So those of you that had FOMO about missing IPO, I mean, that's where it IPO'd. I guess it IPO'd 56, but that day got up to 65. Then that flush back in. These are the FOMO levels down here of 50. If you have another bad day tomorrow, let's see about another flush, and let's try to remember to sit in ARM.
I like 60.
So do I. 60, I mean, that's the 50-period moving average.
Yeah.
I really like that. But, to get that fill, and then it just ripped up in the same minute back up $3.
I'm think bidding it tomorrow.
That's what I mean. So if the market comes to the downside, this is a possible name to buy up. That and Rivian. Rivian really bounced. Not bounced, but I feel like Rivian got going off 20. Tesla maybe too.
It either tells you that somebody, like that move down was just a liquidation that had nothing behind it, someone just dumping at the open, or there were buyers ready and waiting for that. Either one of those two things can be bullish off the open, but that's great price action when you see it. So you got to look at that. Off the open, you're not going to get many better dip and rips. Exactly off of 65, I mean, give me a break. When you look at NVIDIA, like this is down 1%. Like it's dipped, like it did a dip and rip as well to the pre-market lows of like, I don't know, like 50 cents or something. Headed right back into the low of the day, actually. This is failing VWAP back in on NVIDIA. Someone asked me about Intel, or at least in the chat, there was a look at Intel sort of note. And I didn't really see anything obvious here. It almost got to 48 this morning, not quite. It's just hanging around VWAP. It's not nearly off those lows. On the higher time frame look, I don't love the price action. Okay, it's easy to say because I just sold some with the intention of putting that money into ARM, which is where the stink bid is going tomorrow. I think it can get back into 45 because this is where the support was before. So that's just looking at the daily chart and where this could be headed to on the most recent pullback. That is a drop in the bucket for Intel. Like this just spent 2.5 months going up 50%. So for it to retrace now 10%, obviously, that's not that big of a deal. It could be in the low to mid 40s, no questions asked. Still nothing really happening with the weed names. I think you can stick a fork in this one and smoke it because Tilray is now barcoding, which tells me instead of getting out at 34, look at it barcode with 32 as the high. So no point having a stop if it breaks here. Might as well just say if it breaks this level, I'm going to get out. And I'll see if I can get a fill at 31 before that happens. Risk a cent on a re-entry.
I opened this back up because here it is. I actually wanted to see when SoFi reports because we were just talking about them. Where's the reporting date? Oh, Jan 29. Okay, so here we go. SoFi with a potential reporting date right there of January the 29th. So that's coming up. So what's up, Bandy? That's the play, I guess, right? Turning profitability. You can see no PE ratio right now. We'll see if SoFi can get going. We talked about it. It's been 4 consecutive quarters of EBITDA profitability for PLTR, and Palantir could definitely get going back into the can get into the S&P 500. I was trying to figure out price to earnings ratio. See, there it is for PLTR. So obviously it's going to be way out. They just started making money, so we'll wait to see where it goes. But again, a company that's been around for ages and ages and ages. I think it's like 27 years old. Palantir just coming to IPO a couple of years ago with a direct list, and then there it is, the move down in. So we're still on this one. My best fill is like around here. Let's see if Palantir continues to crank a little bit lower into the close for the day. Google could be oopsies, not google.ny unless it switched over exchanges. Google, let's have a quick look. So we were short early, made money until we didn't and got out. Another positive name for us today is going to be Google, and we'll continue to watch that. And then, like I was saying before, we got a great trade early off on Apple, and it's just been the short. Like, look at that short there. Basically, as soon as the market opened up, we shorted it, right? We let it go not as soon as we would have got destroyed, but we let Apple, look at this discipline. We let Apple go all the way up, and then it comes all the way down, and we're able to take a little bit of advantage of that one with AAPL. So it's going to be the #1 stock. We really like Apple there, and I just haven't gotten back into it. Maybe a bid at some point, but yeah, so far so good. Okay.
We just got word.
It's the return.
The return of the Mac? No, it's the return of Danielle Shay, our favorite options expert. So if you have any questions, she is back. Excited to hear what she's going to talk about here because it's been a hot minute. But let's get right on over to the desk. Don't want to keep her waiting. Miss Danielle Shay with Brendan at the desk.
Back with us, as the guys were mentioning. Good to see you, first of all. It's been a few weeks, maybe even a couple of months. I can't even remember the last time, let's be honest. Who cares about the market? You have a new background. You're in a new home after a big move. It's great to see you, first of all. Happy holidays.
Thank you. Happy holidays. I'm so glad to be back, and I missed all of you. Let me tell you, moving across the country with 2 kids, dogs, turtles. It was total chaos, but
Turtles?
now I'm in my new spot.
It's great to see you, first of all. I mean, it's great to see that you're settled and everything is going well. So welcome back. There's so much to talk about. Obviously, the market ends the year at all-time highs, essentially, for tech. It's been a while. Give me your thoughts here. I mean, I see the first chart that you pulled up was the overall market. So let's just start there. When it comes to this market, yes, we're having a little bit of a pullback here the past couple of days, but so much strength still specifically around tech.
Sure. So when you're looking at the overall market, I mean, we had a great move going into the end of the year, and the market was really extended, right? So we needed to pull back. Now, I would have preferred that it didn't pull back right during the typical Santa rally timeframe, because that's a little bit sketchy as far as data is concerned. You know, whenever you see a pullback like that at the beginning of the year, it can foreshadow some bearish tendencies. But when you look at the NASDAQ in general, it was extended. It needed to pull back. It had this record move. We pulled back to the 21 EMA yesterday, which was normal. But today it's getting a little bit more serious, back down into the 34. So at this point, what I'm doing is I'm looking for relative strength and weakness and seeing if we have any leaders that are emerging that could potentially bring us higher going into earnings season.
All right, and I want to get to that because we're just around the corner here before we start to get into the big ones again, into the month of February. Let's deal with some of these individually, though. When it comes to big tech, we had a monster year, obviously, for all of them. Is there one maybe, AI was the main theme, I guess you could say, but is there one maybe we can look at NVIDIA, we can look at Meta, is there one maybe that you prefer at this point in that theme for the overall market going into the new year?
Yeah, so I definitely love AI for sure, but specifically what I like to focus on is stocks that typically rally going into earnings, and especially with last year, stocks that did well both before and then after earnings. And so when I look at that, specifically, you've got Amazon on that list. I wouldn't say it's my favorite, but it is on my list. Microsoft looks pretty good right here, and then also Meta. So those are the three that I'm looking at. And I'm thinking, okay, I'm most likely I'm going to be able to get a dip buy in these names, unless the market continues pulling back.
Yeah, at these levels, definitely needed. Why don't you jump into Meta here? We'll start things off and have an individual look at. Is something you're waiting for, a specific area, or how are you approaching Meta right now?
Yeah, sure. So, when you look at the chart, I mean, the main thing that sticks out to me is just that we've had multiple earnings reports in a row where it's gapped up. Now, last quarter, it did actually fall post earnings, but I mean, look at the numbers. They were estimated to earn 361 and they earned 439 a share. So they have good numbers. Even after the fall last quarter, they continue to rise the majority of the quarter. So I think that that's looking pretty good right now with the hold at the 21 EMA. I mean, that's a really good pullback zone. So 345, if it can hold and continue higher from there, I wouldn't be opposed if we can start seeing this thing go green. The upside targets that I'm looking at are going to be 360 and then up into 365. So basically, I just look for any kind of sign on the lower time frame chart, moving average cross, nice little pattern to the upside, and then I jump into that one.
I just realized you have the date on there, but I was going to mention, end of the month. So coming up end of January, we'll get Meta, which I believe is the first, or I might be wrong on that, but I'll double check. Apple next. There's a couple of headlines we were dealing with today, in fact, for Apple. I actually just saw they got a patent that was awarded to them for the headset, the VR headset, that's going to allow technology for the screen on the outside to display what the person's actually looking at on the inside. Which I guess if you're sitting there staring at somebody with one of those on, it might get a little weird, but now you can at least see what they're looking at, apparently.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I don't know. I'm still not on board with the headsets yet, and maybe other people feel the same based on the gap down, but I still haven't yet to try one on. So I think the jury's still out for me.
Yeah, it's. I mean, it's going to be interesting. I think the technology's there. Maybe the form factor has to be, made smaller a little bit. I'm sure it's coming though. But what do you see here when we're looking at Apple?
So let me tell you that I think this is the worst omen for the start of the year. Apple was my #1 traded ticker last year. I trade all kinds of butterflies on this thing. I own the stock, I buy and sell it. And I don't like the way that this is behaving at all. This could be a foreshadow to a rough January with the way that it gapped down, specifically during that pre-earnings timeframe, especially after it had such a strong year last year. It's not looking good. You have a break below the 50 simple. It's very rare that I short Apple, but I do think that you could probably short it down into 180, especially with the way that it broke down on high volume. This is normally one that I buy before earnings season. I don't see any signs of that yet. I'm looking for it, but this thing is breaking down.
All right, so much to talk about when it comes to Tesla. We had those just absolute blowout numbers that came through yesterday for Tesla on the delivery side, on the production side, and then again today with Chinese numbers topping expectations here as well. On the AI side as well, possibly for Tesla with these robots. But have you, Ms. Shay, received your Cybertruck yet?
So we canceled the order.
Boo.
Canceled. My husband drove across the country from Texas to Washington State, which is where we moved, using the F-150, had to tow the boat, take the animals, that kind of thing. And it's so funny because he's wanted a Cybertruck for so long, but he got here and he said, there is no way a Cybertruck could have ever done that trip. And so no more.
Yeah, he's not wrong. Let's look at the chart here. What do you think for Tesla?
So here's the thing with Tesla. I'm still buying and holding it long term. It's one of my top long stock picks. And I think that the long-term charts look great. I think that it's going to recover ultimately and trade back up into 300, up into 400. But right here, it's a little dicey, especially because we have earnings coming up. The last 3 quarters, if you look at the way that the stock has responded, last quarter it was down 6.9%. Quarter before that, down 4%. Quarter before that, down 8%. So normally I look for Tesla to rally going into earnings, and I do have a small bullish trade on trying to target 250 in Tesla. I think there's still a shot that it could bounce right here, you know, off of 234 and trade back up into 250. But I'll tell you that after the last 3 quarters and the way that Tesla's reacted post earnings, I can't say that I have high confidence in a pre-earnings rally in this stock.
It's one of those, and we've touched on this in the past, but it's one of those that is so volatile and can have such a wide range. If somebody is sitting on the sidelines saying, man, I'd love to own this stock, maybe off of an earnings report, is there, you know, a far out kind of level that you're looking at on this for a long?
Oh, definitely. So that was actually one of the stocks that I was buying at the end of the year there. I bought some more in my 10-year-old's account because of these weekly chart patterns. So if you look at the weekly chart patterns, you know, I love to buy stock when we're consolidating on the weekly chart and on the monthly chart because it's building up all of this energy. So as far as a target, you know, I am using 300 as my first target, but ultimately, if you look at this monthly chart, I mean, look how bullish this monthly chart is. I mean, you can see the way that it bounced down here, bounced down here. This is a 2-step pattern. It's a Fibonacci pattern. You could ask Tammy, the Fibonacci princess, about that.
Shout out to Tammy.
But ultimately, I'm looking at 400. So 400, you know, after we break through 300, and then, you know, I would like to see it even higher. My full fib extension target's going to come in up at 499, which is right at 500. So I am continuing to buy the shares in this stock.
All-time highs, Danielle Shay, for Tesla. No, I mean, Kathy Wood was in there buying up a whole bunch to end last year as well for Tesla. So yeah, more to come. Amazon with an upgrade today. It seems like if you kind of, you know, zoom out and look at all of these, the Mag 7, if you will, going into the end of the year, Amazon was actually one of the strongest ones, but maybe also one of the quietest moves out of the group. There wasn't, you know, a lot being talked about as far as Amazon, but still looks pretty good.
I like Amazon here. You know, Amazon has a very bullish monthly chart as well. So that was another stock that I was buying last year. I think it's recovered really well. It has a bullish weekly chart. We had this weekly squeeze that exploded to the upside. So, I mean, I like Amazon here. I will say that in the short term for trading, I mean, you know, it had this big rally. It's pulling back. It's a normal pullback. It pulled back to the 21 EMA. I think it might pull back a little bit further down into like 147.5. You can see that the volume's still breaking down. And we do have these lower time frame setups. You know, you've got this high volume move. You have a shift in trend. So I do think it could probably fall a little bit lower. But you know why that's a good thing is because it has that, you know, bullish long-term trend, and look at the way that it has done. Look at what it's done post earnings the last 2 quarters. Gapped up 5.5% last quarter before that, gapped up 9.4. We're right in that pre-earnings time frame right now. So if we could just look for a buy, you know, 147, maybe 149, to trade this thing up into 160-ish. That's what I would love to do this quarter.
Yeah, that's that week going to be fun. So February 1st for Amazon. We talked about a few others, January 31st, February 1st. We also get the Fed coming through that week. So mark that one down. It's going to be a big one. It's great to have you back. First of all, Danielle Shay, come back and see us very often this year, please. You're going to do a few appearances on Sean's show as well after 4 o'clock on the recap. So wonderful to see you. Happy New Year. Thanks for this once again. We'll see you soon.
Of course. It was great to see you. I'm glad to be back.
Awesome to have Danielle Shay back. Get her insights, especially, you know, we're going to get into the first earnings season coming up in a little bit here. And apparently we should buy shares of Ford. It seems, although I already own some Ford, and it has not performed as well as Tesla stock, despite the opinions on the Cybertruck. But you know what? That's probably true about the cross-country trip, so I'm not going to hate on that whatsoever. Not a heck of a lot happened in the market except for a retrace back into the bottom, which, as we said, you got those Fed meeting minutes, and all that happened was a little bit of a spike, and then we dropped right back into the lows. The only thing that I reloaded this afternoon to the short side was SoFi. Apple never got to 185, so didn't fade that. Tilray we're just sort of hanging on to. But SoFi did give the 830 fill. We reloaded it, 44s in front of 50. Just got to fill at 30. That is basically the low of the day. On SoFi, Tilray, I got on the offer. I saw that barcode a little bit too late. I got on the offer at 31. it's obvious that there's a seller at 32 because for 20 minutes on a 3-minute chart, you can see maybe like 25 minutes. Look at it just hold that level. Big seller at 32. So you join at 31. If you get the fill, it's kind of like, it's not free money, but it's a good risk reward. You're risking 1 to 1.5 cents. And then you can get back in here to VWAP, which is about 5 cents. But it went without me. I'm bidding down at 220. So not too much in terms of big time market movement, but the shorts that were in play just continued to work back into the downside is the long and short of it. We got about 30 minutes to go. So check that, less than 30 minutes till we get the imbalances, 25 minutes to be exact. And what looks like it's gonna end up, I don't wanna call it, but it's 1% down. A second red day to start the year. There hasn't been too much reason to get away from the shorts, unless you've been looking at, say, energy or I'm trying to think what else. I mean, marijuana had a bit of a bump. I'm looking at Tilray. That's the only reason I remembered that. And Microsoft was reasonably strong out of the big cap tech names. But even Microsoft has gone to sleep this afternoon. Not much of a chance to break this one out. It's still just hanging at 371. So softy, not a bad day. But when the best we can talk about a big cap tech is Microsoft being up 0.07%, I think it's saying a lot.
Yeah, thank you so much, Miss Danielle Shay. So, yep, she'll be coming back on a couple of times throughout, or one time a week maybe, if we're lucky enough to have her come through as well. As I'm just setting up the sticky note, the show tonight for the market recap show. All right, yeah, Apple's starting to fade out again. I actually agree pretty much wholeheartedly there with Danielle that Apple will be the one that underperforms this year, you know, for the Mag 7. I don't know if that was not a question specifically asked to her, but you know, not buying in front of earnings, typically she does. I feel like that's, you know, we're on the same page. Like normally I'd be like, oh my God, Apple's at the 50 period time to buy it. But I just think the market has a lot of movement to come into the downside. So, you know, a lot of possibility right there. Let's just see what's going on with that. I like Apple to the downside, and I would prefer a little bit more Google, Meta, Amazon rather than Apple right now. So thank you, Danielle, for coming through one more time. All right, Palantir is trying to break 16. We'll see if that does come through. You know, a name that's been moving pretty good over the last little while, I thought anyways. Well, it's all right, so this is near a breakout. It's going to be Wynn. So Wynn Resorts is a name that I like. I'm still long this name in the 60s or 70s. I'll have to double check where. We didn't get out when it was at its absolute high I think it was a couple months ago, maybe back in the summertime. But look at this, man. This is another one. The reason why this is on my radar right now is like I'm looking for this break. This kind of a setup has given many, see there it is. This is what I'm talking about. It's back, okay, so in the summer, early summer right there, 115. So I think we can get back to that. I don't think it takes that much. When do they report here? Again, and obviously a profitable name. Look at the price to earnings though. I feel like some stuff might be off there because that doesn't make sense for Wynn. But okay, nice move to the upside there. Market cap 10.5 billion. Their properties, the reason why I bought this was because I'd read a story years and years and years ago, probably about 1 or 2 years ago, that, you know, the property alone in Vegas was worth about $8 billion. So that when you give what was going on there in China, Macau is the word I'm looking for. You know, you give that kind of data back in as well, and then the next thing you know, this is worth a lot more than where it is. So, you know, I still think Wynn is nice, but the reason why I'm calling this up to everybody is this 96.50 right there coming into play at some point again for Wynn. So, if it breaks higher, this is going to be one of those trades where maybe I'd have to talk to Danielle about it because it's going to be an option trade, just buying all the way through here. Why not, right? Why not break this, get to the 200, break $100, and then probably slow down in the 105, 107 area, something like that. But I like this name, and I don't think you can go wrong with getting some Wynn in your life right now, than getting out if it breaks through $88. And Neil, I know you've never been to Vegas, but
I was about to say.
I had stayed at the Venetian, which is great. I never stayed at Wynn. I stayed at Palazzo, which is right across the street from Wynn, or on the same side of the street.
So
but yeah,
Wynn's
a premier. It's a premier location.
So what that means is you're winning the next time we go to Vegas. It'll be the first time for me, which should be a win. I just wanted to point out, I'm not looking at that ad.
What's up with that ad?
I don't have ad block on this one. Whatever, I just pulled this up because you were mentioning the PE. I wanted to point out the forward PE, which we should care sometimes a little bit more about when you get one-offs when you have like a slow quarter, you might have like a very small profit that pull back, but I mean the casinos print money. So 20 is the current forward PE ratio for Wynn, which is a little bit more reasonable. I think that's, so you're not talking about necessarily a super value stock or anything like that, but the growth I think just fine. And I want to thank you very much in the chat for calling me out and correcting me. When I said the best you can hope for as the market is bouncing off or getting back down into the low of the day and the shorts have been winning, if the best you can do for big cap tech is, say, Microsoft up 0.07, Google is up 0.8. So Google is doing much better. I like it. It's good that there is something else which is showing some more strength. Alphabet never really made a parabolic move off of its highs. I love the fact that we might retest the 140 level, because that's a good trading level. You can easily tell that here on the 15-minute chart. There's support at 140. It's turned into resistance at 140. This sets it up if the market goes rebounding for a breakout on Alphabet. This is a stock that if the market kind of pulls back a couple of days and then does its regular January thing, then Alphabet through 140, Alphabet through its high at 142, it's not as if that went crazy through the tops. It's a very reasonable range that this had in the back half of the year. I think it was only like $22 from this little bottom here, something like that. Yeah, 120 to 142 from the bottom back in October. So I like Alphabet through 140. I don't think that's a trade today, but shout out to that correction. Microsoft wasn't the strongest of the Magnificent Seven. We try to get things right around here, and I'll misspeak all the time. Every now and then you're just going to miss a name. I didn't look at my quote board before I said that. I felt that was true in the morning at about 10 o'clock, and that ends up not being true. The other thing moving in the other direction, back down into the lows, Danielle Shay mentioned this, Amazon. Look at the 150 in VWAP. You're hanging out on the bottom with Amazon. I think that's going to provide some value for buying. For now, a retest of the 50 period looks like it could be in the cards. I don't know if we flat bottom. It's 3:30. Okay, there might not be enough time for this. I was going to say flat bottom, double bottom break on Amazon, but as I look at the clock, I don't know that this is going to be able to happen for us. I think the missed opportunity would have been Apple at 185 for a short. Only reloaded the one name, as I mentioned, which was SoFi. But I'm just going to mark this one off. Sometimes in the afternoon, if you don't get an opportunity to trade a level, what you should do is draw a line. I'll hit save so that I notice this tomorrow morning, or I could write it on my iPad, or I could set an alert on Day Trade the World here. I could set an alert on Trade Ideas just for this double bottom the last 2 days on Amazon. I love the stock, but if it breaks this to the downside and we continue this trend, it's got some room to the 50 period, $3.50 to be precise.
Yeah, I've talked about, and I think that's what we got to do. I mean, we sit here and we write it down. We have boards and books and iPads and sticky notes and all this kind of stuff. And it's like sometimes sitting here trading, and I know in the midday they were talking about building scanners and just like, figuring out what the best, plan of action is maybe moving forward here on some of that. And that is just to write it down. I think what Neil's doing is right. You find a name, you got to think about what you want to trade, and then you just simply write it down and trade it the very next day.
75%.
Yeah, well, Neil, honestly, man, these iPads are like 45 years old.
I plugged it in at 8 o'clock this morning.
I believe that's like an iPad 2 that we have right now. So why not just use your phone, man, the Pixel? You can probably do something with Chrome.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
And then it can add it. I think it's just called Notes.
I'd be better off. Yeah, I could just use Notes.
On Apple, it's called Notes.
It's sitting here in front of me every day.
Yeah, I know, but just keep using it. Who cares? It's plugged in. I still haven't been able to find, shout out to Obi, I haven't been able to find a connection for my coffee warmer here. Actually, now that Rob's back, okay, good. I didn't want to disconnect anything until the team was back so that, like, next thing you know, none of the cameras work. I short the power bar down there, and then nothing works, and then everyone's like, what the heck? So
I have one available plug. What's crazy is you can get a USB charger.
Right.
But it's not.
You can?
It's allegedly not as efficient. Like, well, not as efficient. It doesn't get it as hot. So like, Obi bought this one because it just gets the coffee, keeps the coffee.
Yeah,
warm.
I know, because I have a coffee right here. I'll just put that bad boy right on there.
The USB plug would have been a little more convenient because I know I have an open slot for that. Anyways.
But a USB, it should still charge it, but okay.
It
Sounds
should.
like a Christmas story. Okay. All right, that's Win. Let's just look at something else. So we're still in Mara. Let's just have a quick little look here to see if there's anything else popping off in Coinbase.
Never mind.
So Coinbase right now, 42.8 is BTC. It looks like it's trying to, okay. Wow, that 150 level again. Oh man, sometimes just like, yeah, it held, I mean, I guess it dipped down to 149. What is that? Oh no, that's 148. Okay, so yeah, you probably would have lost. I mean, if you took a 150 bid right there when it came back in, it hit twice, ripped up to 154. Wow, this name really gets going, guys, when it gets going, that's for sure. But anyways, nice little fill up there for Coinbase. But now let's just find out what it's going to do. The top side there, 156 on this. I did call up TradingView right now, but now I can't get this dude here away. I tried to refresh this. I've clicked join for free and everything. I'm gonna have to go back. There it is right now. Nice. Okay, there it's gone. Just have to refresh it. So that's nice. Yeah. So it's a nice little move back up to the upside here for BTC, and of course, just looking at this, 43,000. So it looks like we bounced off 42 pretty clean. So next test 43,000. If you know, I guess you're gonna have to have this up, but. You know, trading Coinbase still has a short float attached to it, right? So that's going to be something to monitor if and when. There it is right there, 14% on the short float right there for Coinbase. So that could spark some more action to this upside if we get that break of 43,000. What time is it? It's already 3:34. Did Brendan?
8:15 to buy.
Yeah, okay.
Shout out to Darwin in the chat. Darwin,
Okay.
you beat me to it. I was just looking for it myself. The early look on the imbalances is to the buy side, 815 million. We got a little bit of a bounce off the lows here. Looks like, I don't know, 6 points, 6 handles on the ES and 20 handles on the NASDAQ. We've been in a tight range here. And look, unless you're shorting tops and getting the absolute bottom for some longs, I wish I could tell you I was looking for longs off the bottom, but I wasn't. We got a question, Nick W asking about CVS. Looks like the 50 about to cross the 200 simple. Oh, you must mean on like a, okay, you have to pull up on your chart. I don't have the 50 and the 200 on my intraday chart. So if you're, it's CVS. On the daily chart, the 50 and the 200 made that cross like a week, like was it to end the year? So that's called the golden cross when the 50 period crosses the 200.
Oh, on a daily chart?
I think maybe he means it on the 5
I missed it.
because it didn't make the cross just now, Nick Dubs. It made that cross here. So if you were going long off a golden cross or the breakout, you would have traded it on the 28th or so the 29th to the long side or the breakout at 80, which would have been yesterday. So it looks like just a continuation move. That's not bad. I mean, I don't hold something like the golden cross as like the gospel or anything. But if I already wanted to be in a stock and I was looking at a long and I liked the bottom that it made and all that good stuff, I might use that to just give me a reason to buy that price or that day. Like it could give me a price entry there. So if you were already looking for a CVS breakout for other reasons, like look at it. Over previous resistance and consolidating, and then you get the golden cross, yeah, like that's something I'd trade off of that, and then the fact that it did a golden cross would just be a happy coincidence. So it is headed to the upside. Because I can show you examples of golden cross, not off the top of my head, where the stock goes in the other direction for the month after that it happens. It's just like a general bullish sign. The shorter time frame moving average crossing positively over the longer time frame. It means the stock is turning a little bit bullish in a general sense. So a good look here on CVS, not a stock we trade or a company we have here in Canada.
Oh, yeah, but look, man, I just feel like if you're going to buy CVS, man, just buy Amazon. But yeah, you know, there's going to be reasons for other things. All right, so we are getting close to being stopped out here. And it's not that close, but it is going to be a stop out, it looks like, on Mara. As well, I shouldn't say that. We're still 20 cents away. Sorry, I thought it was a little bit more than that. We've already gotten out, man. We only have that 15% left or less than that left on Mara. So hopefully that stock will continue its move lower. And I should have possibly just reloaded that. But we were just looking at Bitcoin and talking about it, and I didn't love some of the action on that. So we haven't looked at all, really, as often as we normally do. So maybe I'm getting a little bit, again, we're having a monster, like we're having a good day, man. We'll be pretty successful here again today on the floor.
You looked at a firm today?
Well, that's what I was getting at. I was just gonna say, like, some of these stocks that we normally, well, I did look at it when it was $44, and I was like, oh, we called a 3 handle, but I'll look at that, or you'll look at that in a minute, I guess. I was just gonna say, like, AMD, we really haven't looked at it, but this set up perfectly, so maybe it's time to look at this again. AMD, the high of the day was yesterday's low. So that's, for me, that's pretty important. And it's only because that just gives you that out. You know, like you never want to short a name if you don't have an out, which is why I've been not looking too much at this, because down at 136, 137, the out is still going to be 140. So if the out's going to be 140, I got to get something in 139, you know, or change. So 50 cents worth of risk up to 140 is worth it. But other than that, you need an out. So we'll have to watch out for that at 137.50. Definitely nicely pulled down into 134. The reason why I called this up was because I got an alert sort of that SMH is kind of approaching. Again, it's a nice level. Look on the daily chart. Said it yesterday with Brian Shannon. I've been saying it ever since, I can't remember since when, that, you know, again, forget about this little move here. That's because it's split without any problems. It's just right now, I think we've had more than 200 days. Maybe we haven't. Maybe the 200 period is not valid. I'll double check that. But I'm not even worried about the 200 period. It's probably underneath. The idea here is that 160 is coming in. And that, my friends, is the 50 period moving average. And that's where, again, you know what? I'm not going to look at this chart because it's not doing justice. Hold on a second. I just want to check this out here because it bounced. Now, the 50 period's obviously been adjusted now. But see there, okay, there, whoa. Ooh. There is the 200 period. This is what I'm talking about. Remember
47,
I said
yeah.
the 200 period will be below it. So it's at least at 140. There it is. Neil just said 47. So that is right. This is where the 200 period moving average is. So I'm thinking about nibbling a little bit if we get into 160. I told you on the podcast. I think we've talked about it a little bit on the show, and we actually teased like a 2024 looking forward what we would predict. And me and Neil can go over that in the next couple of days or weeks. But SMH, I think, is something that I want to buy. I talked about wanting to switch over to ETFs a little bit more, so I don't have to necessarily pick a winner. I'm already hella long AMD and NVIDIA and a little bit on Intel. But the idea there would be that a pullback into the 50 period moving average is a nice spot to start. And then if you're going to put really, you know, serious money to work, you know, and I think you can wait for 147 to do that. And then maybe you can reassess it when it comes into there, then maybe using like a 136 as your out or something like that. But anyways, SMH, you saw that chart that I tweeted out. I don't think I did actually, but that I showed, was that NVIDIA's up like 50,000% or something. It was up 240% last year alone. And NVIDIA just started, you know, their quarter was May. So like we're like 8 months away or 9 months away from that record quarter that they had. So, you know, I just feel like there's a lot to go with NVIDIA and with AMD and with Intel.
The other name I'll throw out there is ARM. That's one I like. One thing about the great thing about ETFs and just the market in general is every time I find myself like, oh my goodness, I want to take profit on this individual stock, but I don't want the money to be in cash because I want to be in the market. I take that profit. If I sold some Eli Lilly today. I knew I wanted to buy Moderna, so I took those proceeds and put it into Moderna. But if I didn't have a Moderna, I would have bought like XBI or I would have put it in the index. I don't want to leave it in cash. I want to put it into something. So either it goes right into the Qs or the SPY, or it goes right into, it would have been XBI in that case when talking about a biopharma name. And that's the same thing with like if I'm selling some Intel and didn't have an idea what I want to do with that money, a good opportunity is look for the dip buy in SMH if you wanted to keep it in there and you think Intel's just.
But you rotate it like same day, but then.
Well, I don't always rotate the same day.
Right, but same rough ideas.
I was already pissed off at myself for not buying Moderna when I bought Pfizer because looking back at those two charts in terms of positive upside opportunity, I don't think I can't honestly say that at that entry price Moderna wasn't a better buy. And I want to be involved. I think the upside is huge there. That's that's a stock that I want to be in. I know for the next 10 years. Pfizer, I just thought got to a value level. Moderna, I think, is a type of a company that could be a little bit more rocket shippy. That's not really it's not.
It is. That is an official word, right, Adair? Rocket shippy? Yeah, she gave the thumbs up.
That one of those. It's a little bit more that kind of upside, which you just want to be sitting in. Because you don't know when it's going to be able to go.
I'm actually really glad that we, obviously for many other reasons than this, but we added Adair to the team because it just it ups the vocabulary. Because without Sharif here, you know, we got to double check validity of words, you know. I mean, you and I are from Brampton, bro. I mean, I don't know about you, but I'm from the hard streets of Brampton, so I don't speak proper English. You see what I just did right there? So anyways.
Oh, I don't know. When
Seems
we were in high
legit.
school. We were in high school. You could leave your door unlocked in your neighborhood.
Dude, I mean, there's some nights when I wake up and I'm like, why is the front, even now in Toronto, why is my front door open? Oh yeah, you know, I mean,
That's what I'm
I
saying.
say to the kids all the time, honestly, like everybody here, everybody watching, when's the last time like a stranger went up to your front door and just walked right in? Or even, you know what I mean? Like tried to handle, we don't know, we all have cameras now. But the thing is like, I always tell the kids, like, I don't think anybody's coming in to try to break in here. And if they would,
I can
maybe
tell
it would
you
be the back
exactly.
door or something.
The last time, and it wasn't at my house, in university, a buddy of mine, our good friend, he's a commissioner of our fantasy league. We've known him since high school. He lived with he lived with other four other dudes. Not gonna say his name in case he cares about this, but I need to use his like computer to print something off. I didn't have a printer in university, and I went to his place and like I knocked and no one answered the door. And he had told me I could go in his room and print it out. So I kind of just walked in because the door was unlocked. And a couple of his roommates were watching TV, and they completely ignored me. I said hi.
But they know who you are, though. That's the thing.
But they didn't even turn around. I walked right through the living, past in the hallway, right into the dude's room, was just chilling out in his room, printing it for like 10, 15 minutes, came back out and just walked out the door. I'm like, you guys just let me walk in here and didn't do jack? I'm like, yo, Zay, man. I just said his name.
Yeah.
You can't do that nonsense. Like, what if I was a criminal? I could have robbed him blind and they didn't even
the
turn
point,
their
though.
head.
That's not happening, dude. Like, I don't.
Well, I'm a little more paranoid than that.
I'm paranoid, too. I mean, with kids around. I'm just saying.
mean,
Someone just said a crazy lady walked into their house once. Yeah.
Oh, they didn't have
Crazy-
any, they had no beer in the fridge. I would.
a lady walked in here and stole my jacket. And then we got security.
That
Tony. And now Tony's gone. What? Oh, no.
Yeah, that was really bad luck. Because I think the only person, like somebody kind of came off the street on the trading floor, and I think you were the only person that actually lost anything of value.
Well, it's because the jacket was so hype.
Because the jacket was right there, and it was kind of the only.
The worst part about it was I didn't care. I mean, honestly, if someone wants my jacket, I can get that replaced. The problem was they stole my keys were in it.
Yeah.
So then I had to get the key fob and all that kind of jazz.
And they like basically there's pastries and morning breakfast. That's
So I
up
just
there.
built-
They took the food and a jacket. So like the way I look at it, they probably
Did they take the
Yeah, they
food?
took some food
Okay.
and a jacket.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's not,
Yeah,
it
Tony,
doesn't
that's
make it
right, Rainmaker. Tony was security. You don't want to mess with that guy, I'll tell you that much. There's some funny things with Tony, man.
No,
That
but
guy
his seat
too
was
funny.
next to the door. When we say somebody's security, that
find it.
seat is
Where do
next
I-
to the door, which de facto makes them security, and Tony was sitting in the seat.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
Nothing on Tony. He happened
If
to
he
be
was
next
our
to the door.
security dude, we'd have had some big problems. We don't have security. So.
Yeah, Brankles.
Oh, Brankles, okay. Yeah, watch out, Brankles, if anyone's coming in here. Yeah, no. Actually, you are right, actually. Brankles delivered this nice mail to me and everything. Shout out to Brankles. Okay, Brankles is the training. People are like, who the hell is this Brankles guy? He is the floor manager. We have Wayne. So if you ever hear us talk about Wayne.
Of course, Wayne's not there right now.
He has the day off. Right, Brankles? Where's Wayne?
Is that why he wasn't?
Where's anybody around here? Well, no one's got.
Well, I saw Wayne today.
Brankles must have his headphones in.
You even got me twisted for a second. I'm like, I talked to Wayne. I literally have open messages with him. Did I see him today, though? Yeah, I saw him today.
Are you
Wayne's
sure?
here.
Brankles! He has his headphones in. Okay, he went home. Okay. All right. I really hope no one's in trouble because Brankles. Oh, there he is. Oh, we just didn't know if Wayne was in today. That's all. I mean, he fired him. Good job. Finally. Oh my God! Finally, some aggressive behavior around here. I like it.
Dude graduates in a week later. He go. No, we're just joking.
Yeah. He's the.
Wayne is awesome.
Hold on a second. I'm trying to find a picture of
And
Tony.
Steve G, you're absolutely right. Cat is there. That's all that matters.
Yes.
Hola.
Oh, you hit it.
Like and subscribe.
Oh, here we
today.
go. Wow, you know that Twitter searches, man, is what it's all about, baby. Here's Tony. Here's Tony, May 20th, 2022. So this guy used to serve after here. He went over to
Rogers Center.
Rogers
Well,
Center, I'm about to say Air Canada Center, but both. He worked at both. But at this time, it was Blue Jays. So the Blue Jays game. And here's Tony switching, by the way. You know, there's Luca. So that's it. I don't know if I have any more, but that's Tony. If anybody's wondering what our security was looking like before, shout out to Tony, the man, the myth, the legend. That guy was the best story ever of that guy was his paper hand story. And I cannot tell it to say, but it was just, he was going on and on. It's like, it was a very, very serious story. I think he was sitting there with Luca or somebody, whoever he was talking to. And the story was perfect. And he's like, I went to the doctor's office. It's kind of like me talking about like when I went to the dentist yesterday and blah, blah, blah. And then he dropped at the end of it. He just goes, and I was diagnosed with paper hands. And it was just like, I was just like, man, this dude, we had to get him on the show immediately as much as we possibly can. So shout out to you, Tony. I hope you're doing well if you are watching, a good friend of the show, Tony.
And an absolutely, a wonderful dude. Like every single person.
Oh, yeah.
There's people that are like every single person likes that.
He told us he was maxing out his credit card.
He's that guy, but he's maxing out his credit card.
Yeah, he was maxing out his credit card to buy Adobe, Unity,
and something
all
else.
This stuff. And I wonder how. I'm gonna text the dude now. Was that Brendan?
Look at the year we had last year. So hey, that might have worked out really well. Apparently, we have to. I know. We'll get there, Fabian, in a quick second. Let's get to the desk and take care of some business.
Brought to you by IG.com. Trade Forex pairs like Euro USD with spreads as low as 0.8 pips and zero commissions at IG. Terms and conditions apply.
Because this is my chart. There you go, IG. I said I was going to talk about...
No one had more nicknames than Tony, man. I remember when I was
Tony
trying to
the
figure it out,
Tiger.
I was like Tequila Tony, Toronto Tony.
Tony the Tiger.
There was Tony the Tiger, yeah. So many. Anyways, you want to mention a firm before we get on? Well, first of all, maybe we should wait for the imbalances. So
30 seconds. So
so come over to my screen here. We can watch it just for a little bit. I'm in very, very small amount of shares. We'll finish the day at the highest spot. I don't know if we'll be in anything else. In the last couple seconds here, last 10 minutes, you are going to get some outsized moves. Let's just call up Apple. Yesterday, Apple was big. And remember, Brendan gave it to us, and it was like ho-hum, and then it was 7.6 billion to buy, and that sparked a big, huge move up into the end of the day. So we're slightly in Mara and in Palantir 2 and 1. It is now 3:50 in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. Let's see what's flowing out right now. So they're all sells, it looks like here. I just want to zoom this in so we can watch Apple. Apple just tanked in. See, if you're in position right now and you have a stop, well, you just got railroaded. So you got to watch out for being in position into the close, okay? That is for sure. What happened to all the size there? Hold on a second. It's because I zoomed down. Oh, wow.
That's interesting.
This must be a buyout or no, LTHM. Did you see it? Oh, okay, yeah, sorry. I think you said Live Nation. Okay, Ford there. Wow, Ford with a big bid as well, man. Wow, is that Danielle Shay? Oh, no, she's talking about the Ford Lightning. TLT as well today, going the other way, which maybe we'll talk about that in the market recap show. Only up 0.43 again, with the market being red. No surprise, Treasury yields upside, or TLT as Treasury is probably down. We'll double check what the yield is doing. Apple sell, so that was that big move. Microsoft sell. Cisco sell.
LTHM, Live End is down 11% today. So it looks like it could just be some kind of like relief rally.
I bet you there's an index
buy
action
order. Or there could be. I didn't double check index actions, but that could be a good example of one. Down 11%, big buy imbalance. It did make a bounce for what it's worth. It was already bouncing off the lows, and then you got this last little spike, but it's reversing it already. So a lot of times that imbalance number, it shocks the world. The algos might buy it a little bit, and then you get a bit of a reversal. Nothing I'm in did anything. SoFi was at the low at 831. It's at the low at 831. And then Tilray, not exactly going anywhere. Oh, I already canceled my offer. I'm just going to get on the bid at VWAP here. Again, the story... Look, the story essentially was nothing that we thought was new. The DEA apparently with the ability to reclassify marijuana, which I think we already had a little bit of a notion of. It's not federal legalization per se, but there was a spike across the board. NSOS halted to the upside. CGC moved, Tilray moved. I faded it off the news and have been sitting in it ever since. Now it's just going sideways, doing absolutely nothing. Shout out to everyone in the chat if you're having a good trading day.
Yeah.
You had to be short the last 2 days.
Yeah.
Unless you're trading energy and...
Or you're quick.
Well, there were some long bounce opportunities.
Yep.
There's no question about that. But in a general sense, the ability to go short is something that you want to have in your toolbox. If you can't go short, there's always like reverse ETFs. And
you just want to talk quickly.
Kind of
people are saying like about the market imbalances. I mean, we can...
Yeah, we can. Like,
I wonder if we should do a video just that we can point people to.
Don't we have one?
I don't know.
If we don't, we'll make one. But I think on our Market Wisdom channel there is an imbalance video. But just very, very quickly, there's 7 minutes to go here. This is piped into our feed live from the market, so you get the data feed for the New York and the NASDAQ, and the closing auction imbalances are simply on any individual stock. I'll show LTHYM, and you can see you're just looking at all of the open interest in orders going into the closing auction. So this is paired volume. That's 3.6 million to total. 7.8 million is imbalance to the buy side. You add those two together, you get about 12 and change. So the open interest is 12 and change into the closing auction of LTHM. 7.8 billion at the current price is the imbalance to the buy side. So if they needed to close it at 16, wherever it's trading right now, that's the theoretical auction price. It's trading at 15.98. If they had to close it at 15.98, there'd be 8 million shares to buy. Imbalance. That's why they were saying indicated auction price would be different than where it was. It actually just moved down in there. So it's about 8 million to the buy side. It just flipped into 6. You get the last market update, which is just the time, so that's constantly changing. And then, of course, the market that it's in. I like to leave up this this is not an indicator.
Am I allowed to post links in here?
ERKR is simply an early feed to the imbalances before they become public at 350 for the final 10 minutes of trading. I like to leave it up to have an idea where it started out as. So LTHM might be 6 million to buy now, but it was 8 million on the early look, so it's not shocking anybody. And I think that's why you might see a little bit of a lack of continuation to the upside. Just because there's a buy imbalance does not mean it has to print higher, but it does need to pair off if it's not going to go higher. That's the important thing. So if a 355 hits, or 359, or seconds left, and this is still 5 million to buy, well, it's probably going to have to go up. That's what it's going to be telling you. And it's the same thing for the opening auction. It's the same thing for a stock that halts in the middle of the day. It's also the same thing for an IPO in the middle of the day. There's an open auction, there will be an imbalance until they find an equilibrium, then you get yourself a nice print. The idea being to not have volatility. But every now and then, we'll see one of these. I remember Rivian randomly after
Let's put
earnings,
the right one. Yep.
There was a day on Rivian after earnings, I think it was an earnings day or day after earnings. There was a gigantic imbalance on Rivian that was tradable while we were live on the show.
Yes,
You were
yes.
trading it. I don't remember if I think it was an earnings day or a day after earnings. But I'll never forget it because Rivian never had an imbalance except for that day.
I do remember
a gigantic
what you're
one, and it was a
talking
huge trading opportunity. So sometimes it gives you an opportunity to trade. We'll always point it out, and if we see something, we'll take some action for it. But it's 55. The market is still heading to the downside. I kept the poll live, but I don't see.
Oh, yeah. What is the results?
63% SoFi.
Okay.
And SoFi is literally at the low of the day right now.
So I wonder. I wonder a lot of that is just goodwill. Like people hate Robin Hood.
I think
right?
it's a reputational thing.
For many reasons. Yeah, reputation, exactly. So, all right, let's just keep going here. Okay, in effect of getting out of everything, we got out of Mara, and I don't know why my Palantir didn't fill, so I'm just going to punch out immediately. Okay, well, oops, sorry, I was on Mara. We just got 11 halves there on Palantir. I could have waited for that. I punched out. Oh, look at this. Now you got some size following this thing down with only a couple minutes left. Again, man, thank you so much to everybody for watching today. I think it's been a fantastic show. Join me very, very soon. I'm going to do Q&A tonight for the market recap show. So if you have any questions, you can. It's ASA actually. I wrote down. Ask Sean anything. Ooh, I know, fancy, right, Fabian? So that's going to come out very, very soon. So join me on there.
What shoes are you wearing right now?
I'm just wearing these Dunks. Right now, these essential Dunks.
That was the first thing that came to mind.
Coming out. That's good. Good question. Good question. I like that. Randy? All right. So we will. Oh, that's another stock that we didn't look at. Ugh. Roblox. There you go. See, that's how crazy we are. All I had to do was do some random stupidness there, and he knew exactly what I was talking about there with Roblox.
Why?
Yeah, because you don't play it enough, my guy. Yeah, there we go. That happens to me every time I play that game. Because my kids just like run me into like the worst spots, and then I die all the time. But that's Roblox, anyways. All right, so yeah, I just want to look at this thing because this is another one that I want to buy at some point. Nice move down on Roblox. All right, couple more minutes. I'm gone. Today, not a huge day for me, 109 fills. So I've had more, I've had less. But today, relatively slow. But again, one red name, and we're going to review that on the recap show. So I'll leave it with Neil. Thank you so much again. Join me for Ask Sean Anything. and a market recap show where we'll talk about oil. I mean, oil has been a big one. There we go. What do I think of the energy sector? Hey, Bryce, how about that? Right on point.
And they're in bottom.
And then we don't have too many earnings, but we might have. Do we have slumbers? I'll have to double check the earnings as well. But anyway,
Somebody's tomorrow.
all right.
It was,
I'll double check it, and then we'll talk about all that on the earnings show. On the recap.
you'll be. I mean, again, the recap show is there for you, and when you get earnings in the aftermarket, I think there's a couple of names maybe this week. Most of the big ones are a little bit later on in the month. And to begin February, like everything I'm looking at, like we were just talking about, like Livent, like that's in the middle of the month. SoFi, we'll wait around for. CVX up 2%. You guys are in the back clapping. Something happened that was interesting. I didn't see anything really pop off or move there. There was.
It's at LTHM.
Oh, it is LTHM. It actually grew.
What am I still doing here? All right, see you.
I know. Well, I'm always curious, like, why is everybody excited? It was Livent there that just popped even bigger. So that buy imbalance, it grew to 8. So back to what it was on the early look, and the stock just jumped about 40 cents. But that didn't happen at 55. That happened at 358 or so. So you're seeing it pop in there. This is one of the reasons I keep the early look number, because I want to see how it's doing relative. If it pops above that number, that's a pretty good sign. This is what everybody got a chance. Well, some people got a chance to see before 350 when this came out, and it's now backing off. But that was a nice little pop in there. If you have a chance to execute off that, if you have it live. I wasn't looking, I usually look at 355 for that move, but it looks like it's making the charge right now going into the final minute. We got about 30 seconds to go. It is hump day. We're so glad, happy enough to at least get back in here and make a little bit back after Mara, because for me, Mara was the worst stock. I know Sean had the same experience with it. It was frustrating, but there were plenty of trading opportunities out there to get it back for. Apple, of course, being one of them. Energy name, super strong, and Adara is on the bell for this hump day. It has been absolutely a blast, and this live, it's still going. LTHM is still going to the upside as we speak, but in 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and you know what to do. The market is now closed. We did cross beneath that 1% threshold. The NASDAQ down 1.1%. The ES down at 0.84% when I just gave a check. If you're following in, that LTHM made a bet. When the imbalances came out, the low was about 16 bucks. It got as high as 16.64. That's a 4% move in 10 minutes, and it closed right in around 16.50. That is, if you took the closing print, it was about a 3% type move. That is a great return on those imbalances. So we talked a little bit about the imbalances. We'll have a video out there for you guys if you're interested, but that was a big one on LTHM. Shout out to Fabian. I think Ramin is back tomorrow. If not, then it's on Friday. It's probably Friday. Maybe she is. We hope she's feeling better. But Fabian has been working his butt off on the 1s and 2s, sitting up there by his lonesome. We had a little bit of Randy filling in for him, but doing a fantastic job, giving our sound effects, making us look good, which is always a hard thing to do. Shout out to both Adara and Sharif, rocking it, learning to trade on the midday. Shout out to Michael Noss for jumping in as well to the midday show. And of course, the return of Danielle Shay. Super excited to have her back. Fantastic as always with Brendan at the desk, as he always does, but we're really super thrilled to have her back. But don't go anywhere. You can see some excitement in the back. That's because the market recap is now with Sean at the desk.
All right, thank you, Mr. Roberts. We are now ready to rock and roll. Let's go, man. Welcome to the Market Recap Show. Yeah, today's going to be another fun day. I want to thank you, say a thank you to Danielle Shay for coming back on the afternoon show. We'll have her back as a regular guest. Maybe even tomorrow we'll talk to Danielle. But for right now, you're rocking with the Market Recap Show. I want to thank all the traders for once again staying late. Let's have an early drink. Look at these water bottles, by the way. We've got the logo on there, the Trader TV Live. Let's go. All right, it's sector recap time. Wow, how often do we see UNG back up to the tops here? Nice move. Let's go over to a weekly chart and just have a daily chart. Have a quick look at UNG. Nice bottom, man. 460, 550. That's the move you're looking for. Watch out for the 50-period moving average. And again, today we got some nice moves back in oil. You can see here USO up 3.6%. And we're going to talk about why exactly that was. We did have some pressure coming off right now as oil prices rise due to disruption in Libya's top oil field right now. So that's going to be a little bit of a problem there. We talked about this a few times over and over again. Why was oil not really reacting to sort of the Palestine and Israel stuff? And it's because those aren't big, huge oil producing nations. Now, all of a sudden, when you're talking about Libya, Iran getting involved, you know, the Houthi rebel attacks today again in the Red Sea. So there's Iranian warships. So as we go, I'm not laughing at any of this because this is a bad story, but I just think that as more and more pressure mounts, obviously down in the Middle East, you know, and floating in through, like we just mentioned there, through some of those canals and Red Sea and whatnot, you're going to have some pressure coming back into oil. So pressure for oil means more oil prices, right? So as supply becomes a question mark, which the U.S. is producing so much oil that, you know, maybe not a factor. We talked about oil getting up to $77. This is, of course, USO right now. XLE, this is what I kind of like, but we went over this with Brian Shannon yesterday. XLE kind of in the same spot it's been in all year. Some ups, some downs. We'll find out about XLE. Look, this is something cool today. I want to talk about this. This is one of my favorite ETFs, right? And it's going to be the XLV. Today, XLV flat on the day. But look at the weekly chart here for XLV, and I'm going to show you the constituents in this in a minute. I feel like we could break out here. I like, Neil talked about buying some Moderna earlier on. I love that play. Obviously, Moderna down today, 4%. But these are everybody that's in this XLV. Right? 4.3%, Eli Lilly leading the way today. We saw a big move through 600. That's a great move. mRNA, the downside. But the thing about all of this is, and Ben and I talked about this on the podcast, you don't have to pick and choose names, right? You can buy the ETF. This one would be XLV, right? Giving you the Spider Select Healthcare Fund. Now there's a whole bunch. If you want biotechs, you can get IBB, right? But this one has a lot of different names. And I put Brendan on the spot, and we talked about the four big ones, right? Eli Lilly, Merck, there's Amgen, there's mRNA, there should be Pfizer in here as well, and then there's the biggest and the baddest, J&J. So you can get all of this in one, but anyways, you guys know all about that. XLV on the weekly looks like it wants to break out. Sure, it's at the tops, but sometimes buying tops isn't a horrible idea. All right, what else moving around today? TAN. We talked about this with TLT making a move. If rates are going to come back up, or back up, going back to the upside, then you could see a little bit of a problem with TAN. Again, this is a solar ETF. It's had a nice little move back up to the upside. And again, we look to see if we could take out $61. Let's look out for stocks like Enphase that are in here. We can go over to a daily chart for Enphase. I do want to thank absolutely everybody for joining one more time. It looks like we do have a nice amount of viewership popping off right now, over 2,800. So thank you so much for watching here as Enphase with a nice move off the bottom. Shout out to Reliable Rudy and everybody else that made that move. That was $75 bottom, 140, almost a double up in a month and a bit on Enphase. SEDG was the other name, Solar Edge, that really got crushed. And again, these guys got removed from the S&P 500, so creating some downside pressure right there for Solar Edge. The other name, the retail side of things getting hit right now. You know what? I'm not sure that I actually, bear with me here, I'm going to do this right in front of everybody. I'm not sure I have the XRT in here. So I'm going to right click. This is again from Trade Ideas. So you can right click, you go to configure. I go to symbol lists. Here it is right here. Perfect. Let's find out what was moving around today. And thank you so much for watching here today. Look at this. Right here, what was moving around? XRT today down 3.6%. Uh-oh, big lots. Kohl's downside. Five Below downside. Dollar Tree downside. Boots Alliance. What's going up today? Groupon over here. Oh, look at this, little GameStop. What's up, GameStop? But yeah, this is the name that I'm worried about down here, and I'm not worried at all. I want to buy some more shares. Let's just take a quick look on Costco as XRT. Did you guys like that look? What about if I do that all the time? You know, we'll call up Fabian. We call up some exchanges and we'll see what are the constituents in there that are moving it. I like that idea. I like it. Let's keep going with it. All right, right now, Costco. This is the name for me of most interest, right? Little bit of a pullback. If we can get any Costco love, it's about another 7% down, and we can start to nibble at this at the 50-period moving average. I think it's well worth it. Look at the 200 down here at 550. We get back into there. You're just into the lows of the fall. So there's lots to come. I did want to draw everyone's attention over to the ASA, Ask Sean Anything. Shout out to Bears vs. Bulls in the chat. He will be taking down any questions that you might have for me, and I want them to be a little bit unique. If you have something fun, please wind up asking me that, and we'll discuss that. Bears vs. Bulls, get them in the chat. Thank you so much, my friend. What about KRE? We looked at XLF. We looked at a lot of these names. The KRE, the regional banks, right? Nice downside move. Let's look at a weekly chart for this. And again, we're going to go through some constituents again. The important thing is, looking a little bit longer, you still can't get above this $55 mark, right? Those are some of those drop down. Here's Silicon Valley, SIVB, right? Silicon Valley Bank. When it failed, it was the 16th largest, that pause is just for effect. It was the 16th largest bank. And it failed, and then it was kind of like, okay. It wasn't necessarily swept under the rug. I know a lot of traders got hit on that, and there was a lot of traders that made money getting puts early. But look at this, man. It really wiped out the ETF all the way from $60 down into the 40s, where we found some support and then bought it right back. But you're still having a problem getting through that bottom right there of $55, $56. So watch out for KRE. On the other hand, you have ETFs like XLF, and there are other banking ETFs that you can also find some love in. Why is my watch going crazy? I don't even have my phone right now. XLF, still some work to do. But you want to talk about a stock that's absolutely el fuego, look at JP Morgan. But again, look what we see here on the market recap show. Sometimes it is worth zooming out a little bit, right? We have a weekly chart up here on JP Morgan, and to be honest with you, I'm glad I'm hosting this show because I did not identify this. Yo, what's up, Yannick? Over there, my guy over there, Yannick. All right, so just looking here, 173 for the top there for JP Morgan. We're running into some top-heavy support or resistance in this situation. I would say lighten up. Nothing wrong with getting a little bit of cash in case the market breaks down. Remember I sold NVIDIA $498? You know, so right now you could buy it back, you make 20 bucks. Again, if you're selling 100 shares, fine. Maybe there's some money to be made there. But other than that, I feel like it's a little too early to get your cash, put it back into something liquid. I feel like it's a little bit, well, cash is the most liquid. NVIDIA is a pretty liquid stock as well. I wait for a little bit of a dump down. I do not think that move is over by any stretch of the imagination. Okay, we have 3 or 4 questions already, so we will get into that in a minute. We already talked about it. Let's go to the next topic quickly. One back. Oil, EVs. Uh-oh. Oh, no. What happened there? Did we do something wrong? Next topic. Oh, I'll get it back. Oh, you got it back. Okay, hold on. Let me do it. No. I got this. Okay. So yeah, we saw crude, by the way. We'll just look at the USO. We saw crude bounce today a little bit, right? So the thing is that why I want to talk about this in relationship to EVs is you do have to understand that there's going to be a point, I feel like, although oil is still very much needed in this world. I mean, it might even be, especially if we don't have this recession coming through, we're going to be producing, right? So oil still has a play, I believe, in everybody's portfolio. For me, though, I'm starting to get lighter and lighter on oil names. You might have noticed, I did not buy this dip. I know Randy likes it. Look at XOM. I mean, the thing about it is there's still a big opportunity to go to the downside here. I like all the share buybacks. I really think there's a lot of opportunity here for this. Oh, I didn't put on there recap of my tweets. We do have some good tweets out there today. I'm just a little nervous about oil and XOM. So that's all. It's just more of a nervous thing. Chevron's another great name. This has the largest buyback, I believe, on the street right now. Sands tech name, energy name, anything. But look, you're right at tipping points. And I just feel like if it tips, then we do make a little bit of a move down into areas that you may want to buy. It's just, are you going to put real money at work right now? I don't know. I don't know if we should do that. But then I go, Then I go over, it's a juicy dividend. There's no doubt about that. 4 to 5% on each one of those names. We had Danielle Shay on, and this is where we talked about some EV names. For me, EV is going to be very, very competitive, right? Tesla's already got that first mover advantage, and we've already seen sort of how well Tesla's done. And I mean, don't do this yet. I don't want to go over here yet. I'm going to find that graphic that I had from yesterday for Tesla. But the thing is, here it is right here. Let's come over here now. So you could see, if Ramin was here, she'd be saying Control F10, F11. I don't know what I'm doing. Okay, so good thing Ramin's not here. I'd be in trouble. Okay, so right here. Oh no, you know what? I don't think it works very well for this. All right, for images. But anyways, look at Tesla's annual deliveries. And by the way, this is just scary, whoever made this graphic of Elon Musk there in AI. But again, 3 years ago, less than 1 million cars, right? And we're not even, this is just total deliveries. Now you're going to get the Cybertruck going. This is also going to be possible for many other distribution avenues for these guys, including India, including now more aggressively into China. We've talked about some of these. The one thing that could hurt them, I feel like, for Tesla, and this hurts all EVs, is some of those federal and here provincial, they're statewide rebates. Or taxable benefits for buying an EV space, EV name. But anyways, 1.8 million, 1.3 million. So you're still producing a lot of vehicles, and that's been the trouble spot for a lot of these companies. But for me, the reason that we buy Tesla has nothing to do with anything like that. It really just has to do with the fact that they have that autonomous driving. And I really think that with Uber making that move up, there's going to be a lot of opportunity for Tesla. But look at this. Right now, 240. Doot, 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 doot. You were 240 back 2.5, actually 3 years ago. This is January of 21. I keep forgetting that we're in 24 right now. Tesla has given you a few heart attacks to the upside because you're so happy, and to the downside because you are so sad. So this is a very, very volatile name. I feel like you keep buying it, but it has to be because you believe in autonomous driving. You potentially like what Elon Musk is all about. Again, you know, the dog that wags the tail. And then, you know, moving forward into new economies, new places like India, possibly giving them a little bit of a boost up. All right, because we don't have Sean's tweets on over there, I do want to talk about a few other things here. Look at Robin Hood. First of all, let's look at Robin Hood stock. Oh, no. Oh. Heart attack avoided right there. You know when you shake the screen and like everything like goes away, I was like, oh my God, how am I going to get? It still is a thing, my guy, apparently. I got to disable that. How the hell do I do that right now? It must be sticky keys and all that jazz on over here. But look at Robin Hood. Again, you know, really, maybe we can call up a monthly. I'm not sure. Is that where we IPO'd back in 21? No. Let's go over to a monthly here on Robin Hood. The idea is what I'm going to get is as their, oh yeah, okay. As their metrics get better, so this is the monthly, right? So as their metrics get better and better, let's go back to a weekly chart. As their metrics get better and better, right? Their stock price maybe shouldn't be down here. Let's have a quick look at Robin Hood, right? So I tweeted this out. So here's the share price. So it has it right here. $55 high all the way down now to $8. Now we're a little bit higher than that right now. We're at 11. We're at 12. But look at the revenues, right? Obviously we had a lot of revenues back when everybody was YOLOing everything. But now you have 0-day options. I feel like the options market's going to get busier and busier. We have triple and quadruple leveraged ETFs out there. I think people will like to trade. Yeah, there's the new one for SPY. It's XXXX, I think. 4X is 4 times levered, right? So as trading becomes a thing, right now I feel like everyone's waiting. Volatility's kind of leveled off. What if we get that huge market tank? I feel like people can go back to Robinhood. I don't even own any Robinhood shares, but look at some of this. Revenue starting to tick up, right? Look at the net income. If they turn positive, you've only had 2 positive quarters. When they came out, maybe that's a nothing, but then we had 1 quarter that was positive, 2 back. What if the next quarter becomes positive? What does that mean for Robinhood? I just like some of the opportunities here in this. And as we discussed, what do we prefer, Robinhood or SoFi? So that's something else that I wanted to tweet at as well. And then now here, the Kobayashi letter, 4% from its high in just 3 trading days. So the NASDAQ has fallen down 4% in just 3 days. The index has erased $600 billion of market cap in just 3 days. It gives its gains all the way back to December 17th. The Magnificent Seven down more than that, now down greater than 5%. Okay, so again, The big stocks are leading this market back down, just like they let it up. I don't think it's time to push the panic button. Okay, here we go. Let's go to Trader Talk. Yeah, man. Trader Talk with your boy. It's Ask Sean Anything. All right, this is dangerous. All right, so let's go. Let's ask me whatever the heck you guys want. All right, I'm going to post whatever it is I'm talking about. What time is it? 4:17. Okay, good. We've got lots of time. I'm going to post it up in the chat. Shout out to everybody that's here. Because we're doing this, let's go a little bit forward and let's do roll call. Who's here with your boy right now? Traders stay late. Let's find out who's here. It's oh, we get some fan funding that I missed potentially? Oh, what's up? Ian Rispetto. Did you sell all your LLY, Neil, or you still have shares? Good question. We'll ask Neil that tomorrow. You down. Traders stay late, baby. All right, what's up? Matt Carnes is in the building. The crazy Stitch lady. If you ask me about Disney, what's up to Thang? What's up to Robert? What's up to Matt Carnes? Jay Lee's here. HPDS is here. All right, let's go. It's ASA time. Ask Sean Anything. I will put whatever we're going to talk about right here so we can all see it. Okay, here we go. It is from Jay Leon. First of all, before we do this, I do want to thank, and here goes it in the chat. I do want to thank Bears vs. Bulls working overtime with us every single day. Thank you so much, my friend. True traders stay late, true moderators stay late, true production staff stay late, and true salespeople stay late. Where's Kat? She there? I don't see her. She gone. Okay. Oh, she's there. Okay, good. All right. Now, all right. So the first question I just put in there, Jay Lee. Does Sean ever play options or futures? Here's the question right here in the chat. Why? Why not? I'd expect he would since he's on top of daily moves so much. Okay, do I ever play options? No, I do. I do play options, but not enough to actually sit here and discuss them with you. Like, I was in all of that stuff. Like, I actually was lucky enough to have AMC $2 calls before that ever even got going. So that was my biggest option play of all time, AMC $2 calls, before it all happened. I bought it off support and resistance. I just thought, like, hey, how low could AMC go? And then everything happened. So I consider myself really lucky. I've lost on options and I've won on options. I would say net, I'm probably up in my career because of that AMC trade. But overall, if I've made 10 options plays, I'm probably red on 8 of them. So for me, it's not a thing. And I'll tell you the reason why. It's because there's only so much addiction to the stock markets that I can have. I literally make 100 to 200 trades a day. It's a great question. It's just that honestly, I don't have enough time to go over and study all of these specific plays. I do want to get involved more with options, and I have good news for everybody. We will be trading options on our system in the new year, which is now. So we should be trading it coming up very, very soon. We should have 0-day options on our show live coming up very, very soon. Futures, again, no. The only thing I do for futures is ETF trading, and I will dollar cost average into the S&P 500 and into the NASDAQ 100, the Qs. And then over here, let's take a drink break because I'm getting parched. That's kind of like, when we go back and forth about New Year's resolutions and stuff, I think drinking more water, we got to get back into that because honestly, getting hydrated, it's very dry in the winter. You got to drink more. So that's something for that as well. But anyways, futures trading, nah, I don't really do that. You'll see me sometimes on the show and you guys know what I trade on that. It is the TQQ. Uh-oh. It's Mr. D Loaf. So I haven't read any of these questions, man. So thank you, Bears vs. Bulls. Let's put it in here right now and talk about this publicly. All right, here we go. It's now in the chat. From Mr. D Loaf, at Sean Katina. Any tips for level 2? Oh, no. You're looking at the level 2 guy right here. So I like the start of this question. Any tips for level 2 in time and sales watching? I literally graduated in 1 month looking at the time in sales. So we'll talk about that, no problem. I keep getting spoofed out of fear of level breaking. I end up getting out to manage risk, really frustrating. Okay, so let's go over to level 2. So let's look at what D Loaf is talking about right now. Thankfully, I have a level 2 right here. Now, the thing that you're looking for when you're talking about level 2 and stuff like that. So this is right here, the level 2. Okay, so what you're gonna look for is, and I'll just talk about this real quick. We'll go over the dynamics of this. So these are the market participants, right? MPID. Okay, so market participants. Right now, we're only showing ARCA and NASDAQ and a little bit of NYB. So these are gonna be sort of the exchanges that are hosting shares. So they have shares available. You're going to see BATS Exchange. EdgeX is going to be on there. There's going to be various different exchanges or places to execute your shares. Like if Robinhood had a market ID and was a market maker, you'd see them on here as well, okay? But, so you can buy and sell from different stores, let's say. That's what these MPIDs are. Then the price is right here, and then the size. Every single one of these on here, on our level 2, is represented by a board lot. So when you're looking at NASDAQ, it'll be 100 shares, okay? So right now, Fabian, how many shares right now are on the first level of this level 2 screen? Right, 900 on NASDAQ, and how many with ARCA? 100. So there's 1,000 shares available right now. Now, in order to understand the level 2 and how it works, let's go over to something a little bit bigger, right? Let's go over to Siri, potentially a little more size. Bingo! Okay, okay, now, the show started because this is what I used to do. We opened up offices all around the world. This guy was the guy. I was sort of in charge of teaching traders, new managers and everything like that, how to trade, how to understand the software, okay? So I'm gonna ask every single one of you a very, very simple question here. I'm gonna ask it directly to you, D-Loaf. If you're gonna look at this level 2, you tell me, would you rather be long or short? Where is the chat right now? So I want to know if you're going to be long or short here. All around the world, yes. All around the world, again, Oasis, shout out to Oasis. Love those guys right now. Answer to the question is short. Yeah, short. Okay, did you say short, Fabian? You said long, but okay. People are with you. Long, long, short, 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 long. Okay, the answer to this is short, okay? And the reason why is this is the bid side, right? So the left side is the bid. This is more like learn to trade with Sean, and I'm happy to do that. So this is the buy side, this is the sell side. So this is where all of the sell participants are, the sell side. So look at all of the shares here on the sell side. Look at all of the shares here on the bid side. It's literally like 100 to 1. So the demand here on the supply side outstretches the buyers. So supply outstretching demand. So in here you go short. So to answer your question was, how do you not get spoofed? Well, again, 14 million shares, you kind of got to do the math. Is there anything here that's significant against that size? Is it enough pressure? What you're actually looking for is layers like this. A lot of size to protect the sale. Also, if the next order comes in at 42 and this guy kind of moves down to 42, then moves down to 41, that's what we call chasers. That's when you get aggressive. You've seen me do that often on the show. I'll do it again. You're looking for overweighted one size or the other. I will address your questions more and more and more, but D-Loaf, you're basically looking for size, and then when you're looking at the time in sales, the velocity of the prints. Is it just a slow grind? Are they trying to influence the market, or is there a seller really trying to push this thing down? I'll try to do a better job on the show tomorrow describing that, but I hope that did help. That's D-Loaf right there. All right. What's up to Philip Zerbo? What's up, Philip? Right now, another one more question after this, then I got to wrap it up. All right, Philip, are you maintaining bear mascot for tomorrow? All right, let's look at the cues quickly and just do a little bit of work on that one, because that's a good question, man. What are we thinking about for tomorrow? And I want to thank you for asking that. All right, so here's the NASDAQ here. Let's call cues, right? Basically, I only look at the cues. I don't even really look at the S&P anymore. Most of the names that I look at, I don't know how I have any idea what happened to my watch list right here. Any of the names that we look at are always going, for me, the big names are going to be on the triple Qs. I don't see a relief candle here. Again, for me, what we like to look at is where did we close on the day? To answer your question, Philip, we closed on the lows. So the market didn't want to rally into tomorrow. They closed on the lows. We don't have any earnings. Sands, which is kind of, I think it's French, without any catalyst for the NASDAQ, Sands, S-A-N-S. I just don't see a catalyst to get this market to rally back. So would I be temporarily turning that thing around? No. I'm going to keep it as a bear. I still think that there's bearish action here. I really think with Apple, and again, I just like, as we go here with Apple, that's really going to control the market. You saw Microsoft start to head down a little bit there today. I don't really think there's a catalyst for those guys. But again, Apple, that ban is still hovering. Obviously, it's been paused for now. They can resell some of those watches. But what's the next catalyst? I look to earnings. So until we get through the next earnings phase, I just think that there's this rotation in many different names. We've seen the bank names go to the high side, right? The real money and a lot of the safety trade has been flown into chips, has been flown to Google, Amazon, Apple, Microsoft, basically that Mag 7 that everyone talks about. And I just talked about it. It's leading the market to the downside. The NASDAQ's giving back 4%. Mag 7 only giving back more than 5%. So they're leading it to the downside. And with Apple right here, guys, underneath the 50-period moving average, it's going to be hard for me, this guy, to turn bullish until we get the big dog to flip around. On that note, BRK, let's just have a quick look at BRK.B again, because as this name, not working right now. BRK, there it is. This is what I want, .B. There it is. Okay. So Berkshire actually with a move higher today because, again, we saw oil make that move up. We know Oxy's in there. We know BAC's in there. But again, this is giving me a little bit more pause for positivity. I thought we'd be under the 50 period for Berk, and we're not. We're not even close. So maybe, strengthen the market. If to answer your question, Philip, no for NASDAQ, possibly yes for S&P. All right, last question right now. And it's going to come from Harry. So let's go over to the chat here. And again, thank you, Bears vs. Bulls, as we are running out of time. All right. From Mr. Harry Lou. What's up, Harry? Okay. I don't know if is this a fun one or not. I don't know if anyone has any fun questions to ask me. CompuCare. Thank you so much, man. Thumbs up back to you. I appreciate it. I do this on my own time. So, no extra pay for this guy. I'm literally doing this for you. There's no other reason. Harry Lou, what are you looking for when reading level 2? Okay, kind of the same thing that we just talked about. Large blocks, yes. So great question by Harry Lou right there as opposed to single. Yes, yes, yes. So all of that is a yes, okay? Let me just, because we had back-to-back questions about level 2, obviously it's important. Let's just call up Apple. I'm just trying to look again. So again, I'll ask you the same question. Which side would we prefer? We prefer the sell side here. Bigger shares. Oh, something just happened. So that was at 24, and see it just went down to 23 there. So again, if this starts to follow it down and you're not going to get any action now. There's nothing happening in the aftermarket, but what you're really looking for are larger blocks at key levels. Somebody sitting here with 2,400 shares on Apple when we've done 56 million, it's not really that big of a deal for me. So that's not it. But if we're going to look at a chart here on Apple, and all of a sudden, let's just look at a 5-minute chart from today, because we'll find a key level and talk about it. If Apple starts sort of mooning up here into this level, 185, right? This is when I would look to see what kind of size is there at 185. Is there going to be enough there to protect? No. Is there going to be enough there to protect? I'm saying no to the siren, but my guy over there needs to go. 185. So I would look at key levels for size. Thank you so much for all the questions. What else we got to do right there? Okay, sticky note recap. Hey, it's everybody's favorite segment. It's sticky note recap time. Let's just look at what was on the sticky note. I'll do this real quick. How many people are still here? Thank you so much. 2,000. Wow. Mad love, man. If I did that Justin Bieber or whatever that is, mad love back to everybody here. Let's just review what's going on with the sticky note. Okay, so the reason why I want to talk about this is because my chart's right here as well. Apple, short sale. Did we have it? Yes, we did. Unfortunately, these wicks are back. There's 186 short. Where did Apple finish today, guys? Where did Apple finish today? 184. That's a $2. A $2. A $2 winner. That's a sticky note name right there. Now, how did we trade it? I don't have enough time to go over all that. We were aggressively out of it. It had a nice move up. And again, patience is the key for Apple as we zoom in here. Look at this. From 183 all the way up, we waited at sticky note levels, baby. It's Palantir, my second, I believe, possibly, and I don't have my net over on this station, but I do. If I load it up, I don't have that screen up. Palantir, again, a great fade, man, for us. Did we represent Palantir well? Yes, we did. Here's the move up to 1640. We shorted Palantir. Again, just to look at the sticky note, short there, out at the end of the day. Does Palantir end at the bottom of the day? 2 for 2 right now. What about Alibaba? Okay, well, Alibaba, again, a name, short sell. We had news about an IPO coming through for Alibaba, but look what we did again. Another one. There's the short. Let it rip up. Look what price we wrote, 76 short. Look at the short, 75.60, right? We let it get a little exhausted. Bang, down to the downside. That is a dollar winner for Alibaba. 3 for 3. Now, what about Intel? I left Intel alone today. Let's see. We had a 48 short sell on Intel. $48 short sell on Intel. 47.81. Doesn't get any higher than that. Intel closes 80-cent winner. 4 for 4. Sticky Note Nation, stand the hell up. So that's it. Nice day today. Thank you so much for watching, man. We've done roll call. I want to thank everybody for watching again today, man. It's been a big day. I really am passionate about this. I don't know if you can tell. This is why I really love the Market Recap Show. We could be ourselves, which we are in the middle of the day. We're like that all day, man. We stay true, okay? But this one is a show brought to you by traders for traders, and I want to thank everybody for staying late. Please like, subscribe, share this, man. The bigger this gets, the more motivated we are to do more. Thank you so much. We're on a podcast on Friday. The last show of this market recap is tomorrow, Thursdays. Thank you so much for... We have a super chat. Where's the super chat? Oh, no, I missed it. Hold on a second, guys. Fabian's the guy that wants to leave, but he just brought this up. Thank you so much, $2. All right, so calm earnings dump tonight. You have puts. Let's go. Congratulations, Mr. Willis Addison. That's what it's all about. Once we start to get a little bit bigger names, I'll focus on earnings, but good congratulations to you. That's it. I got to get home. What's on the plan tonight? There is some plans. I just forget what they are. Oh, my daughter has hockey, and I think my son's trying to organize a movie with his friends. We'll go see if we can get that done as well. So, all right. I'm Sean Katina. It's at Trader TV Sean on both Instagram and on Twitter. Go follow. We're there every single day. Have a great night. Ciao.